The Blue Jays needed a left-handed starter, and they swung a deal with the Pittsburgh Pirates, acquiring Francisco Liriano.
We have someone who could potentially pitch any game of a playoff run.
Cut on and missed. Another big strikeout for Liriano. What an outing for Francisco Liriano.
Francisco Liriano, 5 up and 5 down.
This is a big pickup for us. Pitched very well for us at the end of the year. He looks good this spring.
Liriano's stuff is as good as anyone's.
It's an absolutely spectacular afternoon here in Dunedin, Florida. Great day for a spring training ball game as the Blue Jays welcome a divisional rival. The New York Yankees have come from nearby Tampa. They brought some regulars and some of their big prospects, and Russell Martin among the regulars you'll see for the Blue Jays in the lineup today. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dunedin. Dan Schulman and Pat Tabler, very glad you're with us. And a lot of Blue Jay fans really excited to see Francisco Liriano on the mound today based on the results he had with the Jays last year.
Well, a couple of things happened when he came over from the Pittsburgh Pirates at the deadline. He was reunited with his former catcher, Russell Martin, and I think that gave him a comfort level, Dan, that he could go out there, throw quality pitches, throw quality strikes, be very aggressive in the strike zone. He raised his walk-to-strikeout ratio from 1.5 to 3 to 1. When you're doing that, when you're throwing quality pitches like Liriano can, he's got outstanding stuff. He can be awfully tough on the opposition.
For more on the veteran left-hander, let's go down to the field level now. Here's Hazel May.
Dan, Blue Jays fans will get their first look at Francisco Liriano on the mound since last year's ALDS, Game 2 to be specific. If you recall, Liriano was struck near the back of the head thanks to a line drive there by Carlos Gomez. Now, from what pitching coach Pete Walker tells us, he is 100% healthy, calling him, quote, an assassin out there on the mound. Now, besides Liriano, we are going to see Matt Latos this afternoon, as well as Joe Biagini logging in a couple of more innings as John Gibbons continues to stretch him out this spring. And Dan, before I send it back to you, late word, Steve Pearce will make a first spring game appearance this afternoon, immediately following Kendrys Morales' exit.
All right, Hazel, thank you. Looking forward to seeing Pierce getting a chance to swing the bat, and also a number of regulars, including the hot Jose Bautista, back in the lineup for the Blue Jays today as they get set to take on the Yankees next.
This program brought to you by new Scott's Lawn Response 911, a 3-in-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
Welcome back to Florida Auto Exchange Stadium, the home of the Toronto Blue Jays, who have been here each and every year since their inception back in 1977. A really nice crowd here. The Blue Jays and the Yankees. Francisco Liriano, today's starter, has just made his way into the Blue Jays first base dugout, so we'll have a moment or two before the Blue Jays take the field and we get ready for the ball game. You can't beat the weather. You and I just got here yesterday. People have been down here for a few weeks. It's been like this every day.
Have we seen a cloud today?
I don't think so.
I haven't seen a cloud today. Put my sunscreen on. I got ready for the baseball season that way.
We're not endearing ourselves to the folks back home in Canada at all, talking about the great weather. But the Blue Jays right now, this is their 8th spring training game. 1 win, 5 losses, a tie yesterday, an 8-8 tie with the Phillies yesterday. Obviously, the wins and losses, the results aren't that important. We bumped into Mark Shapiro, the president of the team, yesterday, talked with him, and through the first week to 10 days of games, he seems really happy with what he's seen. Happy
with looking at the young players, and I think this is by design by the Blue Jays, that they want to see some of their younger players early in the camp, the younger pitchers like a Connor Green, who we saw yesterday. We'll see Rowdy Tellez today, Anthony Alford, who hit a home run yesterday. And yes, you're right, that is by design by the Blue Jays to get some of the younger players into the lineup here, to let the veterans like the Troy Tulowitzkis and the Josh Donaldsons and the Aaron Sanchez's to kind of ease themselves into the season.
Yeah, Donaldson, of course, still coming back from the calf injury. We had a chance to talk to him. He's starting to do more baseball activities. He's getting closer. Troy Tulowitzki will make his spring training debut on Sunday. Aaron Sanchez March 11th, and Marco Estrada soon, but no date has yet been determined, as some of the veterans get eased into things again in this longer spring training camp because of the WBC.
I think it's a byproduct of what the Blue Jays did last year, going deep into October, and then you're right, the WBC. So everybody's just going to take their time building momentum to the start of the regular season.
All right, the Blue Jays on the field. Liriano on the mound. John Gibbons and the Blue Jays ready to go against the Yankees this afternoon. And let's show you the lineup that the Yankees have brought from Tampa to Dunedin. The Yankees had a home game last night, a night game. So, as is usually the case with road games in spring training, you don't see all of the regulars, but we do see Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Chris Carter, who last year with Milwaukee tied for the National League lead in home runs with 41, then got non-tendered by the Brewers. The Brewers knew in arbitration he'd get $7, $8, $9 million. They didn't want to pay it. They non-tendered him. And late, he signed with the Yankees for a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, and he'll probably get a lot of opportunity. He can DH, he can play first. Low average, high strikeouts, but a lot of power for Carter. The starting pitchers today brought to you by Scott's Turf Builder Green Max Lawn Food. Get a deep green lawn in just 3 days.
Still plenty of home run power in that lineup for the Yankees. A lineup that Francisco Liriano will face. First start of the spring for Liriano essentially takes the place of R.A. Dickey in the rotation for the Blue Jays. And the Jays are very excited to see what he can do over a full season. He finished 2016 very strong for Toronto. In fact, his last win of 2016 was against these Yankees, when he pitched 6 scoreless innings.
Set the defense for you momentarily. Ready to go. First pitch. Liriano on the mound. Phil Cuzzy is the home plate umpire today. James Hoy at first. Ronnie Teague at second, and Chad Whitson at third. And leading off for the Yankees in left field, veteran Brett Gardner. Gardner and Ellsbury at the top of the order again, although it's not a given that's the way the Yankees will play it during the season. But a couple of guys who, when they're healthy and when they're productive, get on base at a good clip. Both can run, although neither one runs as much as they used to. But these two guys are a big key to the Yankee offenses.
Joe Girardi was talking about that this week. He's saying, you know what, I might split these guys up. I might hit one of them down in the lineup and one at the top of the lineup to split them up just a little bit to get a little bit more firepower at the top of that lineup. But he made no mistake. He said, when these two guys hit and get on base, we score a lot of runs.
Liriano quickly jumps out in front 0-2 on Gardner. Liriano coming over in the deal from the Pirates. Drew Hutchison going the other way, and the Blue Jays also got 2 prospects in the deal because they agreed to take on the entirety of Liriano's contract. And it's something you see where a team, a smaller market team, in this case Pittsburgh, if they're looking to save some money, well, you got to give up something to save that money. So the Blue Jays took on the payroll, and they got back outfielder Harold Ramirez and catcher Reese McGuire. Swing and a miss. Gardner chases for out number 1. Defensively for the Blue Jays behind Liriano today, you'll see Melvin Upton Jr. in left, Kevin Pillar in center, Jose Bautista in right. Jake Elmore, who is a jack of all trades, is at third base. Young Richard Urena at short, Darwin Barney at second, Rowdy Tellez at first, and Russell Martin doing the catching. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury, and he'll look at a strike.
Rowdy Tellez has been the talk of the camp, hasn't he? And it's all about the offense from Tellez. But Louis Rivera was telling me today that Rowdy Tellez has really improved himself defensively, and he looks like a big leaguer.
He is still not 22 years of age. He'll turn 22 in less than 2 weeks. And as a 21-year-old, last year at AA, had a tremendous season. Hit for power, drew some walks. And whenever you ask anybody about Tellez, they talk about the hitting, but they talk about the maturity and the dedication and the poise and all the intangibles you love to hear in a young player.
Soft-spoken.
Yeah.
Had a chance to talk to him today. Soft-spoken, but very confident in himself. I'm glad he's in the lineup this afternoon, so the fans back in Canada can take a look at this guy, because it's not going to be too long before he's playing for the Blue Jays in the big leagues.
1-2 to Ellsbury. Fly ball to right field. Wind's blowing out that way, but room for Bautista to make the catch. 2 down. Ball was flying during batting practice, huh?
I think they went through about 3 or 4 dozen for the first couple of rounds when the big boys were hitting this morning.
And speaking of big boys, the Yankees have one stepping in right now. Right fielder Aaron Judge, 6'7", 282 pounds. When he gets a hold of one, it goes like Giancarlo Stanton far. The question is, Tabby, as you well know, can he make enough consistent contact?
Well, he didn't last year. He struck out half the time that he was in the big leagues, but he spent the offseason working with the Yankee hitting coaches to slow everything down. And there's no doubt this guy's going to hit a ton of home runs. 6'7", 282. He fills up that batter's box like Giancarlo Stanton, doesn't he? But he's slowing things down. He's already hit a home run and estimated at 460 feet so far this spring. But it's all about recognizing strikes and hitting strikes, and when it's in the strike zone, take a good swing at it.
Hit 179 last year. He is 24 years of age. Had better contact numbers at AAA. Hit 270, 19 homers. Didn't strike out too much. As he smokes a ball into right center field, down on a hop for a base hit in front of Pillar.
You know, the book on Aaron Judge last year was you can get him out in the strike zone when you got the 2 strikes. At the time, that was a pretty good 2-strike approach right there, taking the ball the other way.
So a base hit for Judge with 2 down. And the cleanup hitter for the Yankees today, guy we talked about off the top of the show, the DH this afternoon, Chris Carter. He of the 41 home runs, but 206 strikeouts. So, of course, the Yankees have Matt Holliday now. He will be their primary DH. They also have Greg Bird, who missed all of last season with a shoulder injury, back at first base, and he's off to a sensational start this spring. 3 home runs already. Carter providing a little insurance at both spots.
Joe Girardi is saying that he will play first base against left-handed starters this season, at least to start the year. Oh, there's no doubt he's got outstanding power. Big man. Why is it that the Yankees always have these big guys?
I don't know.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're imposing when they walk into the ballpark. But for a guy who hit 41 home runs, he had a lot of trouble finding work in the offseason. On the appeal, he went, and that's the inning. A good inning for Liriano. Gives up a base hit, but he strikes out a couple and walks off the field after half an inning. first. Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler, Hazel May. No score between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And a look at the lineup that John Gibbons has out there on this Friday afternoon. A lot of familiar names with Kevin Pillar leading off, Russell Martin in the 2 spot. And Jose Bautista is out to a great start so far this spring. Yesterday walked, singled off the wall and left, and homered basically to straightaway center. You'll see Kendrys Morales today. Rowdy Tellez, as we mentioned, is in the lineup. And young Richard Urania, perhaps the shortstop of the future for the Blue Jays. Just 21 years of age, although Troy Tulowitzki's not going anywhere anytime soon. But we'll get a chance to see him today, and we'll see them against Luis Severino.
Second start of the spring for Severino, and second against the Blue Jays. And I guess the best thing you can say about Severino is the calendar says 2017, because 2016 was terrible for this youngster. They had high hopes heading into last season, and it came up short for him. It was really a disaster. 0-8 and 11 starts to begin the season with an inflated earned run average of about 8.5. Sent him down, put him in the bullpen, and he became lights out. He is now vying for one of the starting rotation spots for the Yankees.
And leading off for the Blue Jays in center field is Kevin Pillar. Of course, the feeling is that all going well, Devin Travis will become the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays this year. But unfortunately, as has often been the case for Travis, having trouble staying healthy. He's got a bone bruise on that surgically repaired knee from the surgery in the fall. He has yet to play. They're hoping, there's no timetable right now, hoping he's ready to start the season. So at least for now, Pillar is in the leadoff spot. It's a spot he campaigned for last year. A little bit different this year. He says, hey, I'll do whatever I can if they give me a shot in that spot. And he's trying to be a little bit more patient at the plate.
He just wants to see his name in the lineup. He doesn't care where they pencil him in. What you're saying about Devin, that's true. He's not sure when he's going to be able to get back this year. He's got that bone bruise. It's like saying you have a fracture in your knee and you've got to stay off of it. He's just now starting to hit just a little bit more, and not real sure when he's going to be able to play baseball.
He's frustrated by it.
Yes, he is. Very upset because his whole career, at least with the Blue Jays over the last few seasons, has been nothing but injuries to his shoulder.
And Pillar goes around to strike out against Severino. If you look at Devin Travis's career numbers in 2 years in the big leagues, he's played 163 games. So basically a season, and he's hit 300 with 19 homers and 46 doubles. This is an impact bat.
Yes, and it can be an impact bat at the top of the lineup. That's what Gibby was talking about today.
Here's Russell Martin. Martin noticeably lighter as he comes into camp this year. And a lot of catchers, as they get older, they take some weight off and say, you know what, I got all that squatting and my knees and that sort of thing, and he looks terrific.
I saw him today in the clubhouse. He was putting sunscreen on before they came out this morning, and I had to do a double take. Said, is that Russell Martin? I mean, he looks great, in great shape.
Martin, of course, wanted to play for Team Canada, the WBC, wanted to play shortstop for Canada at the WBC, but because of the knee surgery he had in the offseason and insurance issues that arose from that, no longer able to play, so he will be with the Blue Jays. And I think with some of the arms getting a later start in the spring, nice to have Martin here the entire time to get to know those arms, and also nice for Jared Saltalamacchia, who will be the backup catcher for the Blue Jays, to build a relationship with Martin. Martin could teach him a lot about the pitchers.
Russell said he's going to catch Liriano, and he wants to catch Matt Latos, who is scheduled to go second for the Blue Jays today. I also asked him, I said, okay, what's your role going to be with Team Canada? A little bit of everything. Coach, mentor, sit on the bench, advisor, help out.
So he'll be gone for a little while. Team Canada's home base is the Blue Jays minor league facility here in Dunedin. And of course, they'll play a spring training game against the Blue Jays here in the coming days.
Tuesday, we'll have it on Sportsnet.
Pitch in the dirt, a full count from Severino, who, as Tabby mentioned, was lights out as a reliever, as a starter last year with the Yankees. 11 starts, 0-8 with an 8.50 ERA. As a reliever in 11 relief appearances, 3-0 with a 0.39 ERA. I mean, night and day to say the least, but as he puts Martin on here with a 1-out walk. bringing up Jose Bautista, who Tabby is off to a great start this spring.
Talk about Russell Martin looking good physically. You can say the same thing about Jose Bautista, how well he looks. He has been swinging the bat with authority. And you mentioned it at the top, Dan, about the home run that Bautista hit yesterday. This was a laser. Now, I know you didn't see it. You heard it.
Right.
You heard this home run as you were getting
I had just arrived from the airport and was in the elevator coming up to sit beside you in the broadcast booth yesterday when the ballpark erupted. And I figured something good had happened and walked in there and discovered later that it was Bautista hitting a home run.
Well, sitting here, the noise came off the bat. That was a loud home run from Bautista, and that looks good. The bat speed was good yesterday for him.
And the hope is for both the Blue Jays and Bautista alike is that the injuries last year, the toe injury and the knee injury, were more freak injuries than age injuries. He always comes in great shape. He looks terrific. And the hope is on both sides that he can have a better year, a healthier year than he did last year.
Well, think about it. A hitter, you're only as good, I think, as your base. That if your base is a little weak, meaning your legs, and he had the toe injury and he had the knee injury last year, if that's weak, you're not going to be able to hit.
It's this one a long way right center field. Judge back, running out of room. It's gone. Another home run for Jose Bautista. Second in as many games with the Blue Jays have an early lead.
He was talking around the cage this morning about getting your right field stroke out because the wind is just howling to right field. Well, that was a classic right field stroke. Let the ball get a little bit deeper. Let the hands go just a little bit sooner before the barrel of the bat. And when the bat goes through the strike zone, you get it up into the air. And let the wind do the rest. That thing is out of here for another home run for Bautista.
Here's Kendrys Morales. Well, if you're Bautista, you're probably saying, can't the season start tomorrow? Like, I'm ready.
Boy, he looks good.
Morales will, of course, be the primary DH for the Blue Jays. A guy you always hear the phrase professional hitter about Kendrys Morales. He's been around a long time, switch hitter. His numbers from a year ago: 30 home runs, 93 RBIs. Signed to a 3-year deal by the Blue Jays in the offseason in the aftermath of them not being able to get together on a contract with Edwin Encarnacion. And he chases a pitch up and out of the zone, 2 down.
Well, that's why the Yankees are really hoping for Severino to take one of those spots in the starting rotation, because it's like Francisco Liriano's stuff. Luis Severino's stuff is pure. Fastball, slider. Ran away from the changeup a little bit last year and became a 2-pitch pitcher, and I think that's why that ERA was inflated.
Blue Jays saw him a couple of times as a reliever late in the season. As Melvin Upton Jr. steps in, great velocity. He had a 3-inning, 1-hit, 1-walk, 3-strikeout performance against the Blue Jays on September the 7th out of the bullpen, and he's quickly out in front of Upton, 0-2. How do you see Upton's role sorting itself out this year?
Hit against left-handers, play left field. It looks like Upton and Carrera are going to platoon in the outfield.
And Severino makes quick work of Upton, so he strikes out 3 in the inning, but he also surrenders a 2-run homer to Jose Bautista to right center field, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead.
in two of his best seasons with the Pirates back in 2013 and 2014. And as Pat mentioned in the open, Martin is a big reason why things started to turn around for Liriano last season with the Jays. So why does this particular combo work? Well, Martin says familiarity and great chemistry. He also encourages Liriano to pitch backwards. What does that mean? Well, when they're facing an aggressive hitter or a hitter known to work counts, they'll start with the slow stuff, the breaking balls first, then they'll turn to the hard stuff in an attempt to really get into a hitter's head. Now, this battery, this duo really works. Liriano has a 2.93 career ERA with Martin as his battery mate, more than a full run lower, Dan, than with all other catchers.
Doesn't hurt. A lot of comfort between the two. And Liriano, even at the age of 33, by Liriano's age, sometimes you see pitchers losing some of their stuff and really having to make adjustments. And, of course, that's a constant thing at the big league level. But he's still got an electric slider, a very good changeup, and a pretty good fastball, too.
Well, he's got 3 above-average pitches. And when they are all working, Russell Martin can sit back there and just say, okay, what do I want to go with right here? Oh, the changeup, or I can go with the slider, or that great moving fastball, either of them. And as a hitter, when you've got a pitcher with 3 above-average pitches, and he's getting them all over strikes, you have no idea what he's going to be throwing.
And that's the key for him. Can he throw enough strikes to let his stuff play? As the 2-0 is lined into left center field, and that'll get down for a base hit for Austin Romine doing the catching for the Yankees today. One stat, very impressive stat for Francisco Liriano. If you look at swings and misses, the percentage of time that he gets swings and misses, it's the highest in baseball since 2014, ahead of everybody, even Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, look at this. We found this stat. Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Noah Syndergaard on that list, along with Tyson Ross, pitchers with swing and miss stuff, at least 5,000 pitches thrown over the last 3 seasons. It's Liriano leading the pack, and that's those 3 pitches I was talking about, all above average and all of them with great movement.
Leadoff man aboard for the Yankees here in the second, and playing first base today is Rob Refsnyder. You know, I think there's a tendency, because Liriano just joined the team in August of last year. You know, Estrada's established and Happ's established, and he won 20, and Sanchez led the league in ERA, and Stroman's been an opening day starter. I think there's a tendency to look at Liriano and kind of say number 5 starter, but he's got, you look at this rotation, it can go in a lot of different directions, and I don't know in their minds that they think of anybody as a number 5 starter.
Well, he might say, it might say number 5 starter next to his name on the Blue Jays, but he's got number 1 type of stuff with the great movement and everything. He is also working on 12 1/3 scoreless innings, which is in the top 4 in the American League heading into 2017. People forget about how strong he finished 2016. I mentioned the shutout against the New York Yankees, 6 shutout innings. He also shut out the Baltimore Orioles for 6 1/3 innings in his last start of 2016.
And he gets Refsnyder swinging for the first out of the inning. 3rd strikeout for Liriano. We expect roughly 2 innings, 30 pitches from Liriano today. This is his first time out in the spring.
How about the location of that pitch and the late movement? Refsnyder had no chance against Liriano. I'm going to throw one out at you, Dan, right here. Who was the winning pitcher in the wild card game?
A strike taken by Donovan Solano.
Remember
was it Liriano?
Yeah, it was Liriano. Yeah. People tend to forget about that because they're thinking about the Edwin Encarnacion home run that won it for him against the Baltimore Orioles. But Liriano was in the bullpen, if you remember, in the playoffs, and came in after Osuna left in the 10th inning. He finished up the 10th, pitched the 11th, and the Blue Jays won it in the bottom of the inning. And unfortunately for the Jays, he was only able to play a couple of games in the division series against the Texas Rangers.
Got hit by the line drive. You saw the video off the top of the show if you were with us at the top of the hour. Amazing and very fortunate that he wasn't more seriously injured than he was, although he did suffer a concussion. There's one, and on to first, high and wide throw, so they can't turn 2.
Solano bounces into a fielder's choice runner at first, 2 down.
Well, just wasn't hit hard enough for the middle infield, Barney and Urania, to turn it. Darwin Barney at second base and Urania at shortstop. Urania, shortstop of the future, if you will. And there's the first baseman of the future, Rowdy Tellez.
So 2 down in the inning, and that'll bring up Jorge Mateo, who's the starting shortstop for the Yankees today. You know, because of the long spring and the WBC and so forth, and some of the veterans not starting till a little bit later, Troy Tulowitzki one example. So Urania probably getting more of a chance to play than he normally would, which for a 21-year-old kid, an opportunity to show what he's got. He had a rough game on Sunday, had a throwing error and a fielding error in the game on Sunday. But a guy who did well last year, hit .295, split the year between single A and double A. It's pretty good for a 21-year-old kid.
For a young kid,
yeah.
And playing in the Florida State League at the age of 21.
Inside at the belt, ball 2. Two nothing Blue Jays, top of the second. The runs coming on a home run by Jose Bautista. In the bottom of the first off Luis Severino. Fouled back 2-2. It's got to be something for the young kids. The first time they take the field with the veterans. That first major league spring training game. They're used to being at the minor league complex and playing with their players their own age. But the first time, there might be an all-star standing beside you or an all-star playing against you or something like that.
Blue Jays, like other teams, will bring up kids from their minor league camp. They brought up a few today, and we'll probably see them late in this ball game. Urania was here last year, the shortstop, and really impressed everybody in camp.
Yeah, we got lots of names and numbers coming your way later on today.
Didn't know they made numbers that high. Here's one of the reasons why Liriano is so confident with Russell Martin. His ball moves all over the place, and if he bounces one like that, John Gibbons was saying today, he knows that Martin's going to block it for him.
There goes the runner. And a broken bat pop up into shallow right, and ranging back to make the catch is Darwin Barney to end the inning. That'll likely be all for Liriano, and if it is, a solid 2-inning performance for him.
Life takes
Six, 12, and 20 game packs are available. Call 416-341-1234 or visit bluejays.com/gamepacks. Dan.
And the Blue Jays actually open up the home portion of the regular season schedule with an interleague matchup. Milwaukee is in. It's the way when you have 15 teams in each league, you always have to have an interleague series, and the Blue Jays home opener will be against a National League team this year. Two-game series, correct.
Two-game series?
Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe. Here's Rowdy Tellez with the Blue Jays up 2-0 going to the bottom of the second. The young first baseman we talked about, just shy of 22 years of age. Claim to fame, went to the same high school as Buck Martinez did, right?
And he reminded me of that today when I was talking to him.
Buck likes to talk about it too.
Buck loves him. Buck loves this kid, and who wouldn't love this kid? He's going to be a big leaguer.
And he likes hitting the ball the other way, and he hits it hard the other way, but a Gardner will run it down on the track. We were talking about this before the game. He has said he's not a pull hitter. He likes to use the whole field. He wants to be a good hitter who's got power rather than just being a power hitter.
Very mature for his age. He was saying before the ball game, he said, you know, I wanted to learn how to hit, and that means I have to be able to hit the ball the other way. I'm going to take away some of my power to learn how to hit. There's been so many people over the years who thought about the home run, but they never learned how to hit or become good hitters. He said, I wanted to become a good hitter first, and then the power will come.
Here's Darwin Barney. Barney got a lot of action last year as a Blue Jay because of Travis's injury situation. Tulowitzki was out a little bit. Barney played second, played short, played third, even made 4 or 5 starts out in left field.
Pitched?
Yeah, pitched. Which is never the end. Things aren't going well, obviously, when you got to stick a position player in there. But he went out on the mound one time and did well, and he's back. Ryan Goins is back as well. Of course, Travis and Tulowitzki, and a little bit crowded out there right now, but Barney certainly proved his worth last year.
Yeah, and he's a solid pro. I mean, you can stick him anywhere, and he's going to give you good work. You can put him at catcher if you want to. You can put him at shortstop, second base, wherever, and he's going to give you good at-bats, too. Started driving the ball just a little bit firmer last year into the gap.
Hit 269 last year with the Blue Jays. Shallow left center field and down for a base hit.
That's the good at bat right there. Veteran. He's battling now. When you're up against Luis Severino with his 98-mile-an-hour fastball and your wipeout slider, you got to battle, and that's exactly what Barney does. Just dumping that ball into the outfield, not trying to do too much with that, with a couple of strikes on him.
So here is Richard Urania, just 21 years of age, from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. Shortstop, as we mentioned last year, split between single A, double A, hit 295. Interesting thing about Urania, he only started switch hitting in 2015. But unlike most switch hitters, most of them are natural right-handed batters and they add left. He's a natural left-handed batter who added the right side to try to give him that platoon advantage against left-handed pitching. And the numbers in 2015 weren't great from the right side. They got better last year. This is his natural side as he hits one sharply and a bounce to first. One out there. Wide throw at second into left field. And safe at second of the play is Barney. Wide throw back into the infield, but backed up, so no further damage done as the Yankees kick it around a little bit.
That's a tough play for a first baseman, especially a right-handed throwing first baseman. You're holding the runner on at first base. The ball comes down to you. You catch it, step on the base, but there's no throwing lane for you. Ref Snyder's on the base. There's no place to throw the ball because the runner is running right in line with second base. That's where if you've got a little bit of time, you can take a couple of crow hop steps and create that throwing lane to get the out at second base.
So the end result is a runner at second, 2 down for Jake Elmore, who is the starting third baseman for the Blue Jays today. Elmore's a guy who has spent parts of 5 years in the big leagues and each year has played for a different team. And as we discussed with him briefly in the clubhouse before the game, he once appeared He has appeared at all 9 positions at the big league level in a single season. He did that as a member of the Astros back in 2013. He caught a lot in high school. By college and the minors, he was mostly a shortstop, second baseman. Like a lot of guys, make himself more versatile, learned how to play the outfield. And then Houston was having a blowout game with Texas, and in the same game, they stuck him in to catch a few innings and then they asked him if he could pitch an inning, and he went out and pitched an inning.
What did he say? He caught 4 1/3 innings, and then went to the mound.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, how did your arm feel after that?"
Well, he said he was lucky he only threw 11 pitches on the mound because they hit him at people. So he was happy to get out of there. But, you know, you applaud guys like this who say, whatever you need me to do, I'll do, because they understand it's their ticket to the big leagues.
Versatility. I think it's becoming more and more prevalent at the major league level. Guys that can play multiple positions. If you've got people like that who can play multiple positions and help you out, you might be able to carry an extra pitcher or two. And in this world of relievers who are one-inning relievers, it's nice to have a guy who can play multiple positions.
Barney at second, 2 down, and a 2-2 count on Jake Elmore. And strike 3 called to get him, likely bringing it into Luis Severino's day. We're not too sure about the call, but he gets rung up to end the inning. 2-0 Blue Jays at the end of 2. Sunny skies, happy fans. Spring training baseball along with you here this afternoon. And Yankees 2-0 Toronto going to the top of the third. Very nice 2 innings for Francisco Liriano. And here's right-hander Matt Latos.
Big things expected from Matt Latos. Last year he was 7-3. Spent some time with the Chicago White Sox. He was released from Lions. Picked up by the Washington Nationals. 17 games total for Matt Latos. And he's a valuable guy because he's a veteran, first of all, but he can pitch out of the bullpen. And the Blue Jays signed him to add some stability and some depth into their roster, but it looks like Matt Latos has an outstanding chance of making this team out of the bullpen.
He's only 29 years old. Seems like he's been around forever, but has had some good seasons. A number of them were with Cincinnati from 2012 to 2014. He's had some injuries to deal with the last couple of years. And he's got like a number of guys in his situation. He's got a clause in his contract that says if he's not on the big league club at the end of the spring, he can opt out. So remains to be seen whether he sticks out of the bullpen. Pete Cosmo will lead it off for the Yankees. The former St. Louis Cardinal getting the start at second base today. Of course, the regular middle infield for the Yankees figures to be Castro at second, Gregorius at short. They're not here for this game today. Headley probably the third baseman, Bird at first. None of those guys are here. The outfielders are here, and you'll see this a lot where teams will want to group their players together. You'd like to have your shortstop and second baseman work together in spring training games. You'd like to have the outfielders work together because they have to get used to each other. But the veterans don't take as many bus rides as they probably did back in your day.
Well, we were watching the game last night, you and I, the Yankee game, and we pretty much could tell who was going to be here. We said, well, the infield's playing the night game last night along with the catcher, so we're probably going to get the outfield, and that's exactly what happened.
Sky-high pop-up in a shallow right center. Pilar there, and Cosma is retired. Let's talk a little bit about the Blue Jays bullpen. There are some locks. Obviously, Osuna is going to be the closer. Grilly, the setup man. Boy, Grilly still got, we saw him yesterday, still got the enthusiasm of a 12-year-old kid out there. 40 years old right now, but raring to go. The Blue Jays signed J.P. Howell, Joe Smith. Biagini looks like right now that he will be a reliever. So that's 5. So that you figure leaves 2 spots unless they start with 13 pitchers. They'll probably start with 12. So if those 5 guys are in the bullpen, there's a lot of guys vying for those last 2 spots.
Well, what do all 5 of those guys have in common? They're 1-inning guys. They're short guys. Blue Jays don't have a long man in their bullpen, and they love to have a long man in the bullpen. That's where I think Matt Latos comes into play for the Blue Jays. He has pitched out of the bullpen very briefly in his career. He's mostly a starter, but he's going to be stretched out. So if they need a long man in the pen, he's going to vie for that job. And you probably need another left-hander. You only mentioned one left-hander down there, so it's going to be a whole group of players vying for that last spot.
Aaron Loup, the most familiar name. He's back with the Blue Jays again this year and hoping to get that spot. 1-2 now, the count on Brett Gardner. As a left-hander, we don't expect to see him today. He hasn't been listed as a possible pitcher today, by the name of Tim Meza, who has really opened up some eyes and impressed. John Gibbons was talking about him before the game today. Had a couple of strikeouts against the Tigers on Wednesday. Had very good numbers here at Dunedin as Gardner swings and the bat flies back to the backstop. And that's going to be all for Gardner as Latos gets him swinging. Or did he foul it off? He did get a piece of it. Forgive me. He got a piece of it, so he's still up there. Tim Meza hits 98 miles per hour from the left side as you get another look, and he did foul it off. A 12th round pick in 2013, did very well here, and people are going like, wow, how often do you see 98 from the left side?
We heard his name last year, even though he was pitching for the Florida State League at the big league level when they were looking for left-handers. As that ball is grounded to Les, he handles it flawlessly, but we heard his name last year of a player that could rush through the system because he's left-handed and he throws hard. He was lighting it up the other day, wasn't he?
Yep. And I think where Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins may feel the Blue Jays are at in terms of the system right now, they feel they've really improved the depth and the kind of the insurance policies, the contingency plans at the upper levels of the minors in case they have injuries. At the big league level, the best talent is in the lower levels right now. Is that fair?
The big prospects. Yeah. The big prospects, the Vladimir Guerreros and the Bo Bichette's, Sean Reed Foley's and the Connor Greens are in the lower A balls, but they're starting to make their way up. Rowdy Tellez will probably be in AAA this year.
2 down. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. And a broken bat roller to first. Tellez has it, and an easy play himself to the bag, and that's a neat and tidy 1-2-3 inning for Matt Latos out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
from here in Dunedin. Jerry Howarth and Pat Tabler in the booth for this one. Catch it 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Where else but right here on Sportsnet.
Well, first and foremost, great to see Jerry back. Everybody knows that he is recovering from prostate cancer surgery in the offseason. He's back. He's looking great. He's feeling good. And looking forward to you and Jerry bringing us the broadcast on Sunday.
And nothing has changed with Jerry. Everybody was all over him again today.
Severino back on the mound for the Yankees. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Pilar, Martin, and Bautista. Pilar struck out his first time up. Sends a fly ball to right field, but Judge is there. We mentioned that with Travis not healthy yet, it kind of opens up the door, at least hypothetically, for who the leadoff hitter could be. And it's no given Travis would be the leadoff hitter if he were healthy, but it's the assumption people made that he's the most likely candidate. The Blue Jays don't have a prototypical leadoff hitter. Last year, they used a lot of different guys, including Jose Bautista led off for a fair bit. How do you see the, say, top 4 or 5 of the order sorting?
Well, first of all, who does anymore have a prototypical leadoff hitter like they did 30, 40 years ago? That guy with a high on-base percentage.
Martin with a liner in the left field, a base hit. And he's on base for the second time.
You know, that's number one. Number two, I think what the Blue Jays want is someone who is going to get on base for 2, 3, and 4. Right. That's the important thing. Who has a high on-base percentage for Donaldson, Bautista, Morales?
Assuming that's 2, 3, 4.
Yes, assuming that's it.
Because Bautista led off out of necessity last year, but ideally they'd like him in a run-producing position, especially if he's swinging the bat the way he is right now. Yeah. If it's vintage Jose Bautista, they want him in a position where he can drive in some runs.
And that was out of necessity last year. Jose hitting in the leadoff spot. The offense just wasn't going. They wanted to shake things up. It was a day in Minnesota. Jose went to John Gibbons and said, hey, look, we need to get somebody on base to get this thing started, this offense. I've done it in the past. Let me do it again. He did. The offense took off, and then eventually he moved back down in the lineup when Devin Travis came back.
Well, one of the reasons he was up there, of course, is because he draws so many walks. Last year in 116 games, he drew 87 walks. He had an on-base percentage of .366. 2-2 the count. But if the power is there, it looks like Donaldson, Bautista, Morales, then maybe Tulowitzki, Martin, 5-6 might be the way it lines up.
There's so many options. I mean, against a right-hander, you could see Ezekiel Carrera in the leadoff spot. He did that at the end of last season against right-handers, and against left-handers it could be Kevin Pillar. There's some options there for John Gibbons, but he doesn't have that guy who say, bam, that's my leadoff guy. But around baseball, can you name 5 guys who can do that?
Base hit into left field. Bautista, who walked, singled, and homered yesterday, has singled and homered here today.
Well, the harder they throw it, the better I think Jose likes it. And when he's in one of those grooves, you can't throw the ball by him. Severino's got the great fastball working on his 3rd inning. And Jose quick with the bat as he turns on that pitch and lines it into left field for his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
And it looks like he's reached his pitch count. That'll be all for Severino. Joe Girardi's taking him out, and the Yankees go to the bullpen.
Want to feel luxurious hand cream?
Victor. Joe Girardi to the bullpen for the first of many times today. Brings in right-hander Johnny Barbado.
Barbado spent a little time in the major leagues last year for the New York Yankees. Got into 13 ball games. He's like a typical Yankee reliever. He comes in and he throws hard. He's got a good fastball, a good slider, and a nice little split. There are his numbers last year in 31 games in AAA, a 261 earned run average. And like a lot of the Yankee relievers, he's averaging a strikeout an inning. So they're not going to lose anything here miles per hour wise from Severino to Barbado.
Martin at second, Bautista at first, one down. Here's Kendrys Morales, who struck out his first time up. And looks at a fastball in for a strike. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Yankees. Morales last year hit much better from the right side of the plate. Hit .330 with an OPS over 900, 929 from the right side of the plate. Hit as he gets hit by that pitch, and he's in some pain as he's going to begin the long, slow walk down to first base. That'll load the bases.
I don't think Kendrys Morales thought that slider was going to move that much. He recognized it early, started to move out of the way, but that thing kept sweeping. It hit him right in the legs, and I think he's going to be out of this ball game. There's the breaking ball right off the toe of Kendrys Morales, facing Barbado for the first time. He'll remember that breaking ball.
And it'll be Danny Jansen who is running for Morales at first base. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. Here's Melvin Upton Jr. Ball gets away, but not far enough, and it's 0-1 on Upton. I hope it's just precautionary that Morales comes out of the game. Maybe scheduled just to get 2 at-bats anyways, but you hope it's nothing serious. Popped him up, very shallow right field. Who wants it? It'll be Judge taking charge, and not deep enough for Martin to try to tag. And that'll leave him loaded with 2 down now for Rowdy Tellez.
He's trying to get that ball into the outfield. They did a very good job the last couple of years of situational hitting. Runner on third base, less than 2 outs, and it's something that they practice every day in batting practice. Infield in, infield back, get the ball in the air. Upton was trying to get that ball in the air, but he just got it up a little bit too high, couldn't get it deep enough.
So let's see if Tellez can capitalize. Bases loaded, 2 down. And a little bit outside for ball 1. Tellez hit the ball to the warning track in left field his last time up. Nice running catch by Gardner.
We were talking about Tellez last time up becoming a hitter before the power showed, and it's the ability to take sinkers away and hit the ball the other way. Waiting as long as you can, and he was saying, I'm a better hitter now than I was last year at this time because I'm recognizing pitches a little bit better. My swing's a little bit slower. It's a little bit shorter. I'm learning what it takes to be a big leaguer in camp, hanging around these guys. If it's in the weight room or if it's watching film or whatever it is, he feels like he's becoming a very good major leaguer.
No indication, though, even if he has an enormous spring, you don't get any sense that he breaks camp with the team this year, right?
I think Gibby said this week, he said he's not going to break camp. But it's awesome for young players to get into the big league camp and be around this type of atmosphere. He was talking about that. If it's watching film with Jose Bautista to try and help him with his swing, or if it's working out with Russell Martin or Troy Tulowitzki in the weight room, it's learning to become a big leaguer.
3-1.
And you talk to any coach on the Blue Jays right now, and they say, Hey, who has surprised you so far in camp, or who has looked really good in camp, especially from the young kids? And this is the man that they say.
And it's not just the bat. The defense, the Blue Jays feel, is better than was advertised. And for a big guy, they like the way he runs the bases. Stole a base a few days ago. Again to the opposite field. Gardner there to make the catch, and that's the inning as the Blue Jays will leave the bases loaded here in the third. So end of 3 on a beautiful afternoon in Dunedin, and the Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead on the Yankees. Bit about Rowdy Tellez. For more on the young first base prospect, here's Hazel May.
Well, Dan, Tellez is taking full advantage of his resources here this spring. Hall of Famer Tim Raines has been working with him as far as his work on the base paths. In fact, John Gibbons confirming to me that Tellez, believe it or not, has turned into one of the better base runners here at camp. Tellez has also reached out to the pitching coaches. Paul Quantrill, for one, has spoken to him about his days of facing hitters like Jim Thome. Tellez has also reached out to some members of the pitching staff, how they went about facing David Ortiz and Adrian Gonzalez, 2 guys Tellez says that he has fashioned his work after. Tellez believing if he can pick up just a few tips on how pitchers are facing these particular targets, Dan, he says he'll be one step closer to being an offensive threat.
Absolutely. And before we go any further, congratulations to Tim Raines. That should have happened a long time ago. A deserving Hall of Famer. And boy, if you're a young kid and you want to come up and learn about base running, that's a pretty good guy to have in the organization, isn't it? Matt Latos out for his second inning of work for the Blue Jays. Aaron Judge will lead it off for the Yankees.
That's the pitch that gave him trouble right there. Sliders off the plate, trying to close up those holes in his swing. A little bit more contact. Former first-round pick in 2013, and here he is knocking on the door.
0-2. Martin liked it, but did not get the calls. It just missed the outside corner. After Judge, it'll be Carter and Romine. 2 very good innings for Francisco Liriano. 2 hits, no walks, no runs, 3 strikeouts. And now second inning of work for Latos as he strikes out Judge.
Off-speed pitch from Matt Latos. He will pick up his first strikeout of the afternoon.
One defensive change for the Blue Jays now. Dalton Pompey is coming to the game in center field, so Kevin Pillar got a couple of at-bats, and his afternoon is done. So Pompey, the young outfielder who has spent last year at AAA, it's a crowded outfield with all the bodies that the Blue Jays have, but he's hoping to play well, open up some eyes, and maybe fight his way onto the roster.
And that's why he's playing in the WBC for Canada. He wants to play in game situations every day. Get himself ready so when he comes back, hopefully he makes this roster coming out of spring training.
course, in the postseason, especially 2 years ago, did a lot of pinch running for the Blue Jays. He was the opening day center fielder for the Blue Jays 2 years ago. It wasn't Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar was playing left field early in 2015. If you remember that, the crazy catch that Pillar made up above the left field wall at Rogers Center, kind of the when he reached up above the wall.
Tim Beckham,
I think so.
Tampa?
Yeah. That's Pillar in left field.
Yes.
But Pompey eventually went back down to the minors. Pillar moved to center, and the rest is history for the Blue Jays there as Latos picks up back-to-back strikeouts of Judge and Carter.
Well, he's got a tight slider, and it's a late-breaking type of slider. He's had some big years when he was with San Diego and Cincinnati. And that tight slider, it looks like a fastball coming to the plate. You start your swing, and all of a sudden it disappears underneath your bat.
So again, Latos just 29 years of age, but having pitched for 5 different teams in the last 2 years, dealt with some injuries. Guys had some success in the big leagues in the earlier part of his career, trying to make the team as a reliever. And boy, this has got to be, if not an eye-opener, certainly an impressive outing for Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro to get a look at.
It looks really good. If he makes the team out of the bullpen, or if he goes down to AAA, whatever decisions they have. Matt Latos had 4 consecutive years with San Diego and Cincinnati where he struck out 185 batters or more. 4 consecutive. He won 14 games 3 of those 4 years. So it's in there, and like you said, Dan, he's only 29 years old. Seems like he's been pitching forever.
And as last year's Blue Jay team proved, as just about every team proves, you may break camp with 12. You're probably going to need 25 different guys at some point over the season. Didn't the Dodgers, they used 15 different starting pitchers last year, and that was a playoff team. You just never know what's going to happen. And you know, whoever invented the saying you can't have enough pitching didn't make it up. It's true.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I think the Blue Jays can do that this year now because they've got some veterans that they've brought into camp, starters who have a little something on the back of their baseball card that they've done something.
Right center field, Bautista tracking it, and that's the inning. Matt Latos, 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down. Nice performance out of the pen. Never mind that. Get me and Tabby a couple of those hot dogs up here fast. And welcome back to Dunedin. A 2-0 lead for the Blue Jays over the Yankees, and a nice full house here at the ballpark today. Enjoying spectacular weather and enjoying the Blue Jays 2-0 lead so far on a Jose Bautista home run back in the first. And so 2 good innings from Francisco Liriano, 2 good innings from Matt Latos. Joe Biagini's warming in the pen. He'll be the next Blue Jay pitcher. Johnny Barbado is back on the mound for the Yankees. And Darwin Barney leads it off. Barney with a base hit his first time up. Boy, it seems if you don't come out of the bullpen throwing 94, you're a rarity these days.
94, that's nothing.
I know.
95 plus.
Yeah. That's what Barbados' first pitch fastball here was 94. Interesting that the Blue Jays, the two of the veteran acquisitions they made in the bullpen, they're not hard throwers. J.P. Howell's not a hard thrower. He's got a great changeup. Joe Smith's a sidearm submarine type of guy. He's not a hard thrower. Different looks.
I think you have to give different looks. I think the most successful bullpens in baseball are the ones who give you different looks. You got lefties and righties. You got sinker ballers. You got fire ballers. You got good sliders. A little bit of everything. Because the season, as you go along, the matchups are not all the same, so you can't keep throwing the same kind of guy out there. Blue Jays might have done themselves a favor by getting a few different guys into that bullpen. J.P. Howell's a lefty specialist. Joe Smith, the submariner. Get your share of ground balls. And then you can still bring the heat with Roberto Osuna.
So Smith kind of stepping into, I guess, Joaquin Benoit's role, and Howell stepping into Brett Cecil's role. So it's a different look for the bullpen this year.
That's a fluid thing, though, around baseball anymore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Teams change the bullpen
every year,
from
almost
year to
every
year.
Yeah.
Joe Madden, when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, was a master at it.
Barney called out on strikes.
How many of those pitchers did the Tampa Bay Rays bring their careers back?
Yep.
Joaquin Benoit was one of them. You just mentioned when he was with Tampa.
Richard Urania up for the second time. Bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Or grounded out, excuse me, grounded out his first time up. Was not a fielder's choice. Urania, the switch hitter, batting for the left side against the right-hander Barbado.
You know, this is nothing new that we're seeing from the Yankees. Guys coming out throwing gas. Remember the bullpen last year? That really wasn't fair, I thought. Dylan Betances, Andrew Miller, and Aroldis Chapman at the back end.
What did you think of the Betances arbitration situation?
Found that very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you want to tell the story, what happened.
Well, so he and the Yankees went to arbitration. The Yankees won. I think he was asking for $5 million. He got $3 million. And Betances is a guy who has worked as hard as any reliever in baseball over the last 2-3 years, and has had great results over the last 2-3 years. And then in the aftermath of that, Randy Levine, the president of the Yankees, made some comments that rubbed some people the wrong way, including a line something to the effect of, "If he's a closer, I'm an astronaut," or something like that. And you know, I think the point he was trying to make was he lost the arbitration. He didn't get paid because he's not a closer. He doesn't have the saves and the glamour stats and so forth. As that fly ball is hauled in right field, 2 down. But obviously that did not go over all that well, I would guess, not only with Betances but with a number of players. And now, you know, Joe Girardi asks a lot of Betances, and Betances takes the ball. And, you know, one of the prevailing thoughts around the Yankees is, well, you wonder if Betances will be as willing to completely do whatever is asked of him, given the stuff that went on in the offseason.
Well, reading some of the quotes this week after the arbitration case and after all that went down, it seems like Betances is okay with it, because they said, you know what, I'm going to move on from that. That's in the past. Forget about it. I got to get ready for this season. And the Yankees, I think, have as good a chance as anybody of making it to the playoffs on the strength of their very underrated pitching staff. If everybody stays healthy, that's a darn good pitching staff.
You're bullish on the Yankees this year.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. They've got the right mix of veterans and young players, and if the young players come through, and this first week of the preseason has fulfilled some of those dreams for the Yankees, it couldn't have gotten off to a better start.
Yankees are 7-1 for what it's worth, but records don't tend to mean a whole lot. There's very little, if any, correlation between your won-loss record in the spring and during the regular season. You kind of look at the individual performances more than the wins and losses.
Yeah. The young kids are doing it for them. They were touting them all off season long, talking about the young kids, and this is going to be the backbone of this organization, the next wave of great Yankee prospects. And they've gotten off to a great start.
Yep.
So it's making them look good.
And we'll see some of them today. Gleyber Torres is here. Clint Frazier is here. McKinney is here. We'll see a number of those top Yankee prospects probably pretty soon. Inning over as the Blue Jays go in order. End of 4 in Dunedin. Blue Jays 2 and the Yankees nothing.
Blue Jays fans, the fifth inning is the
Baseball, Yankees and Blue Jays 2-0 Toronto going to the top of the 5th. Third pitcher of the ball game for the Jays is Joe Biagini.
Maybe the biggest surprise of the Blue Jays in 2016. He was a Rule 5 pickup last year from the San Francisco Giants, and all he did was establish himself as a quality major league pitcher. He got 3 or 4 different pitches out of that bullpen. He's going to try and work on that changeup just a little bit more. Fastball, curveball. He can cut it. He can sink it. He's got a changeup. There was some talk of him possibly being stretched out to become a starter, but John Gibbons has said his spot is in the bullpen, and he's very valuable. He can give you multiple innings out of that bullpen.
And the new catcher for the Blue Jays is a newcomer to the team, Jared Saltalamacchia, a guy who's been around a while. Of course, spent some time with Boston among other teams, a switch hitter with some pop, and he was catching Biagini out of the bullpen and comes into the game alongside him.
He was saying today that he's got to keep playing because he's got to catch some of these guys. He's never caught these guys before. So this afternoon he gets Biagini. Very good pickup by the Blue Jays.
Well, a big difference for the Blue Jays with R.A. Dickey here. Josh Tolley caught when Dickey pitched. That was the way that it had to go. Now the Blue Jays have more freedom that they can give Martin a rest, put Saltalamacchia in whenever it's needed. Day game after night game, matchups, whatever the case may be. As Biagini gets ready to face Robert F. Snyder.
I think there's a real good chance that we're going to see Jared Saltalamacchia catch 2, maybe even 3 days a week this year. He's a switch hitter. That left-handed bat balancing out that lineup just a little bit more. Blue Jays are very top-heavy last year from the right-hand side.
They've added Morales, Kendrys Morales, a switch hitter this year, but of course they lost the left-hand hitting Michael Saunders. They've still got Ezekiel Carrera, who bats from the left side, and he'll have some sort of a role, whether it's a full platoon with Melvin Upton, less, more, remains to be seen. You heard a lot during the winter, you know, Jay Bruce, Charlie Blackmon. Well, look who's here. We thought we were doing this on the headset down from the field. Look who just walked into the booth. Let's put him on the spare.
Spare.
Kevin Pillar is in the booth with us.
Here, Kev, why don't you go there?
What a guy.
Didn't I do an interview with you like this one time?
Yes, you did.
When
but
you were a radio guy?
You came up in full uniform.
Oh,
you came up in full uniform. Kevin Pillar kind enough to come up to the booth. Here's the 3-1 on the way, and it's fouled off. That's a nice surprise. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime, but careful.
No,
careful
no,
there.
no.
Yeah.
No.
It's never too soon to think about.
other side of the baseball.
You like that view? Yeah. Yeah.
Third baseman, number 34, Donovan Solano.
All right, having some audio issues. We're trying to get sorted out. Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler. Kevin, give us a few words. Let's see what we got you. We got Pilar? We think we have. All right, we're trying all the gadgets we got. Talking to that one now, Kevin.
This is it's spring training for everyone,
Spring training for everyone. There you go.
Even the audio guys here.
There you go. All right, tell us how camp's going so far for you. What you've been working on.
Camp's been real good.
Yeah.
Just really committing to a plan. Understanding, learning how to stay in the strike zone and being selective and, you know, really trusting my swing. I mean, I have the ability to put the ball in play, but really just trying to look for pitches in the zone and trust my ability to put the bat on the ball.
I know, Kevin, you've been in the big leagues now a couple of years, and you've played every day now for a couple of years, and it takes some time to adjust and make the adjustments. What's the biggest takeaway you had last year, after last season, 2016, that you wanted to make yourself a better player, a better hitter coming into 2017?
I mean, I think everyone wants to be better. I think you see Donaldson as an MVP. He wants to be better. I think if you stop trying to get better in this game, someone else is. And, you know, when you understand you're replaceable in this game, it motivates you to be better.
Did you want to hit for more power? Did you want to hit for a higher average? Did you want to up your on-base percentage? Did you want to tinker with a leg kick?
No, I think and I think the game's changing. I think as a kid, you know, I judged my success of how many hits I could get. In this day and age, it's about getting on base. So for me, it's staying in the strike zone, use my God-given ability to be able to put the bat on the ball, but it could be a curse at sometimes when you know, you chase outside the zone and make weak contact. For me, it's my biggest focus is how many times I can hit the ball hard. I'm really trying to simplify the game for myself from a standpoint that when the ball leaves your bat, you can't control what it does. I can control the pitches I swing at, the type of swing I take, the effort when I'm in the box, and I'm just trying to hit the ball hard.
Give me one guy, either a new teammate or one of the minor league kids who's really impressed you so far this spring.
The big tall lefty that we have, Mars. He came in throwing gas the other day. It was impressive to see.
That was a quick 3 up, 3 down. You got another half inning in you? All right. Kevin Pilar will stick with us for the next half inning. We'll be back to Dunedin after this. Tabler, Hazel May, and in the booth with us for another half inning, Kevin Pillar, who got a couple of at-bats in, played the first 4 innings, and now kind enough to join us here in the booth for one more half inning. The guy who replaced him, Dalton Pompey, is going to lead off. So you were talking about Tim Mayza, left-hander. You only saw him throw once, but 98 miles an hour, right?
Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've seen a lefty come in and throw that hard in our organization. It's good to see. I mean, I like the way Rowdy Tellez is swinging the bat. I like the way he goes about his business. I like the way he asks questions. Anthony Alford, same way. He's a guy that, you know, I try to get close with. He asks a lot of questions, and he seems like a guy who's, you know, he's a special talent.
You were that guy just a couple of years ago, the guy coming up. Do you remember your first big league camp and your first big league experience? Was there anybody who took you under their wing and kind of showed you the ropes?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, my first big league camp was after I was already in the big leagues. That was tough for me to come up, and I hadn't really spent a lot of time around a lot of guys, and you know that was in the you know, a couple years ago before this team was the way it was, the type of guys we had, the success we had. You know, I kind of felt like when I got up there originally, I kind of had to figure some things out on my own. Reyes was good to me, Rajay Davis was good to me, but I think with success, guys understand that everyone plays an important role in it. Not just the 25 guys on your roster, but you know, the guys that are in camp could come in and make an impact, and that's really what you're seeing from some of the older guys and guys that have been around. You understand that these guys are going to be important at some point in the season.
You mentioned Anthony Alford. A lot of Blue Jays fans, they've read a lot about him. They understand the talent that he has, but they may not have seen him. When you watch him play, what do you like about him?
I mean, first of all, if you just look at him, he looks the part. He's a physical specimen. He's a guy that's super athletic, is a football player. What people don't know about him is he's still young in this game. Not only 22 years old, but this is a guy who was playing college football just a couple years ago. He's still kind of raw, but you could tell the way he came into camp and his willingness to learn from me and Jose and Leaper in the outfield, it's starting to show.
Young players. This is a tough team for young players to make because there's so many veterans on this team. What about all the new guys this year that have come up this year? What do you think about these guys, the new guys that have come here? Does this make this team a little bit different from last year?
I mean, I think anytime you can add a guy like Kendry Morales, who's a switch hitter, obviously that changes the dynamic of our lineup. You know, a left-handed bat is something we had been missing for some time, and to have him in there and the ability to switch hit makes our lineup even deeper. He's the type of guy that will hit you the home run and he'll drive in 100, but what makes him special is his ability to hit the ball where he wants to do it. He's a guy that will let off the throttle and shoot a ball through the hole to either extend an inning or add on a run, and that's something we've been missing.
3-2, fouled back by Pompey. Everybody calls him a professional hitter, which is about the highest compliment I think you can pay a guy in the
big leagues. I mean, if you get a chance to just come out, even in spring training, watch him work. Yeah. I mean, he's every bit of it. He's a true professional. He loves what he does. He's a guy who didn't even want to come out of the game. He knows he's playing tomorrow. He's getting his 4 at-bats, but he just loves playing.
You had thumb surgery in the off season. Good to go, 100%. No,
100%. Yeah.
Ripped foul down the line by Pompey. Man, that ball smoked.
Well, that's 2 years in a row that you played with some injuries in the second half. So when people say, well, he can't hit, or he just, you know, you were dealing with some injuries the last couple of seasons, and as being a former hitter, having anything wrong with your hands, it's almost impossible to put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, and that's something I don't use an excuse.
Exactly.
It's something that I felt like us as an organization and our coaching staff and front office, we did a good job kind of hiding it. The last thing I want is the guy that I'm facing to know that I have any problems, that I'm dealing with a torn thumb ligament. I don't want to give him an advantage, but I don't use it as an excuse. You know, that's part of my motivation. People say, oh, he can't hit, he's an average hitter. I mean, in my career, I'm a 270 hitter, and I don't even feel like I've been the best version of myself yet.
Touche. I think the same thing. I think you're just scratching the surface as a major league hitter, and that's why I mentioned you've been in the big leagues for a couple of years and you've got a chance to play. You know how many career at-bats you have?
Yeah, I looked it up the other day. I'm right around the 1,500.
And that's the spot where they say that's where you become, you make the adjustment, they make the adjustment to you, now you make the adjustment back to them. And I think you're ready to just take off offensively.
Yeah, you know, I think I had been trying to make those adjustments. I was just looking in the wrong place. I was looking to make, I think that as a hitter, naturally you want to make physical adjustments, but the biggest adjustment for me has just been with my mind and controlling what I can control and getting a better understanding of the strike zone. And I've been fortunate to be around some really good hitters, and you know, I'm learning from them.
All right, well, we wish you the best. Thanks for joining us. Stay healthy. We got a pitching change here. Have a terrific season. All right, Kevin Pillar, thanks to him for joining us here in the booth. Today, his day's work is done. The Blue Jays are up 2-0 going to the bottom of the 5th, and Joe Girardi making another pitching change. Right-hander J.R. Graham comes into the game.
We have a few of those today, don't we? Filled up Graham. There are his numbers over 3 levels last season. 44 innings and 47 strikeouts, just 16 walks for J.R. Graham, trying to make this team out of the bullpen, although it's pretty full right now for the Yankees.
Jared Saltalamacchia is the batter. Switch hitter batting for the left side. Shift is on for the Yankees. John Gibbons was talking about Saltalamacchia during his morning visit with the media today. Somebody asked him about Saltalamacchia, and he said, well, you know, he's got a lot of power and he strikes out a lot, so he'll fit in here with the rest of the guys.
He said he'll fit right in with these guys. We had a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we strike out a lot, too.
Well, he made contact there, and I think he just got a piece of Melvin Upton Jr., who was sitting up on the railing in front of the dugout. Ball wasn't hit that hard. Looks like Upton's okay, but he's going down to a safer spot right now. But Saltalamacchia does have power. Last year hit 12 home runs in 246 at-bats. He's been with 6 different major league teams, most notably the Red Sox. His best years probably with Boston. 31 years of age. He'll take a walk. He'll get on base, which is something obviously that is valued these days. And
if you make a mistake, he's got pop from both sides of the plate. You know, we mentioned that R.A. Dickey, there's a domino effect. R.A. no longer with the team. He's with the Atlanta Braves. So Josh Tolley is now with the Arizona Diamondbacks. A true backup veteran catcher who can hit from both sides of the plate to give Russell Martin some extra time off. Give him a little bit of a blow every now and then. Day game after a night game. Tough right-handed pitcher on the mound that day. You can throw Saltalamacchia out there. It doesn't matter who they catch. Last year it did matter with the knuckleballer.
Graham strikes him out. 2 down. Graham, a guy who spent some time in the big leagues with Minnesota, made 39 appearances for the Twins in 2015, just 1 big league appearance in 2016. 27 years of age. From Livermore, California. Now Jose Bautista.
Got a nice little split finger fastball. You see him set it in his glove.
Bautista, another very productive day, has homered and singled today. Yesterday, singled, walked, and homered. So he's on an absolute tear.
He wants to get the WBC started.
That's right. Yeah, he'll be going to play for the Dominican Republic in the WBC. One of, what is it, 6 Blue Jays, I believe. Osuna's going to pitch for Mexico. Estrada, I think, is part of the pool of pitchers that can be selected for the second round if they get there. Stroman will pitch for Team USA. Happ is part of the development pool, I think it's called, for Team USA. And Bautista with the Dominican Republic, and Dalton Pompey with Canada.
We also have a young player by the name of Romano who's going to play in Italy out of the Blue Jays organization.
One hopper back to the mound, and that's the inning. Graham comes in, gets a couple of outs after taking over on the mound, and we are at the end of 5. 2-0 Blue Jays.
The Brewers take on your Blue Jays April 11th and 12th. The Honda home opener is sold out. The Orioles are in town April 13th to the 16th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Hey, so thank you. One change for the Blue Jays as we go to the 6th inning. Jose Bautista's afternoon is done, and into the game in right field is Daryl Siciliani, who had a good camp for the Blue Jays last year, wound up spending the year at AAA.
Went down there and battled some injuries last year, and then came back up for the final month. For the Blue Jays, a valuable type of hitter. He can hit a little bit as a 4th outfielder.
Got just 27 at-bats with the Blue Jays last year at AAA. Hit 266, 10 homers. Second inning of work for Joe Biagini, and it's been some impressive work on the mound for the Blue Jays today, beginning with the starter Francisco Liriano, who had 2 nice innings, a couple of hits, 3 strikeouts. Matt Latos, 2 perfect innings, 6 up, 6 down, 2 strikeouts, and now Biagini into his second inning of work, facing Pete Kozma, the second baseman for the Yankees.
Getting to that part of spring training where the pitchers are adding an inning here and there. Biagini, this is the second time that he's been out there. He said, I want to start using my changeup just a little bit more, and I'm going to use the early part of spring training trying to hone that in and use it just a little bit more and complement my cut fastball.
The thinking with Biagini right now is they want to keep stretching him out. Could get up to 3 innings. It's kind of a just in case something happens to one of the 5 starting pitchers. If anything were to happen in the spring to one of the starters, Biagini's the guy who's going into the rotation. But at some point, if everybody looks okay, if all 5 starters are doing well and are healthy, then Biagini will get back to a bullpen role, which he was so effective at last year. Well, not only during the regular season, he was terrific in the postseason.
In the postseason, it did not phase him one bit in the postseason.
He's not phaseable.
If you know Joe Biagini, that's a very accurate statement. But the Blue Jays, they kept spoon-feeding him just a little bit more and more as the season went along, and he could handle it. Tougher parts of the lineup, handling the tougher parts of the lineup. deeper into the ball game at the back end and those big pressure packed situations in closer ball games. And the more they gave Joe Biagini, Joe was able to give back to the Blue Jays and kept impressing them.
And long term, you got to believe Biagini's hope is to be a starting pitcher at the big league level. And he'll get that chance. It might not be this year because they've got 5 starting pitchers of a terrific caliber, but as an example, you never know what the future holds. But Liriano's going into the last year of his deal. Estrada's going into the last year of his deal. You got to believe at some point Joe Biagini is going to be a big league starting pitcher.
Well, it's a nice thing to have. Yeah. I think if you're Ross Atkins, the general manager of the Blue Jays, or Mark Shapiro, the president of this team, to start building some of that depth and giving yourself some options in case guys, like you said, who are free agents, if they end up going or if somebody gets hurt, you have an option to put a pretty good pitcher right back into that rotation.
1 ball, 1 strike on Brett Gardner, leadoff hitter, left fielder for the Yankees. He has struck out and grounded out. Just 2 hits so far for the Yankees. Chopper to the left side. Urania with a strong arm gets Gardner by a half step.
You know, that's one of the things that you first notice against Richard Urania when you watch him take ground balls is the strength of his arm. Now, as a shortstop, you got to make the longer throw, obviously, but you're going to have to throw on the run. You're going to have to backhand. You're going to have to plant that right foot. You're going to have to do all kind of different things to get that ball over to first base. And he shows off that arm right there. Plant, step, throw, and get him by an eyelash.
So a couple of quick outs here in Biagini's 2nd inning of work, and now here's Ellsbury 0 for 2. And a base hit into center field for Ellsbury, aboard with 2 down here in the inning.
Yankees absolutely have to have Jacoby Ellsbury live up to that contract and do the things that made him a star when he was with the Boston Red Sox. Take the ball the other way if you have to. Biagini tries to throw one on the outside part of the plate. He just slaps it the other way. He's not going to run as much as he used to when he was younger, but he's still a threat in that ballpark of pulling the ball into that the seats in right field.
Here's Aaron Judge. Roller to the right side. Barney knocks it down but doesn't have a play. Everybody's safe. And Judge 2 for 3.
Well, that's something you didn't see a whole lot of from Aaron Judge last year, hitting the ball the other way. Just rolls it to the right side, just out of the reach of the former Gold Glover.
So the inning continues as Chris Carter comes up with 2 men on, 2 out, top of the 6th. Under blue skies here in Dunedin, the Blue Jays up 2-0. The Jays looking for just their 2nd win so far in spring training, although again records mean very little if anything. They're 1-5-1. Next telecast is Sunday.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, the Rays here.
To town.
Tabby will be joined by Jerry Howard. Buck, by the way, for people who are wondering, is handling some of the coverage. He's part of the coverage for the World Baseball Classic. So Buck's gone for a couple of weeks. He'll be back later on in March. So I'll be doing some. You'll be doing some. Jerry will be doing some. Joe Siddle will be doing some. Team effort.
I'm really looking forward to Tuesday when the Blue Jays take on the WBC Canadian team.
Which includes Freddie Freeman. Both of Freddie Freeman's parents were born in Canada. One in Toronto, one in Windsor. His mom, I believe, was the one born in Windsor, and his mom passed away when he was 10 years of age, and Freeman's talked about how emotional it will be when he thinks of his mom when he puts on a Team Canada jersey for the World Baseball Classic.
Tim Leeper will be there as one of the coaches. He's first base coach for the Blue Jays. He'll be coaching third base, I believe, for the WBC team.
Carter draws a walk and now is going to leave for a pinch runner. It'll be Wilkin Castillo coming on for him.
Joe Biagini was just cruising right along, and then Ellsbury flips that ball out in the left field. Judge goes the other way, rolls one through the right side. Pitching very carefully to Carter, ends up walking him. It's where you want to finish off strong. Finish up your outing on a high note.
Austin Romine, the catcher, takes down and away ball one. We can see activity in the Blue Jays pen. And I think we both thought the same thing. We saw a guy get up, and we're looking at it from 400 feet away through a chain link fence, and we see a submariner, and we're like, hey, Joe Smith's not supposed to pitch today. He wasn't on the list given to us. But it's a non-roster player, Will Browning, who's got the same kind of delivery that Joe Smith has. And evidently he will be the next pitcher for the Blue Jays.
Don Gibbons likes to use some of those young kids to get out of trouble. Not necessarily stretch them through that next inning, but just bring them in, give them a taste of what the big leagues is all about in game situation, and then get them out of there. Joe Biagini, though, he wants to handle this all by himself. Take care of this.
Got the first 2 outs this inning, then a base hit to Ellsbury, an infield hit for Judge, and then a walk to Carter. High chopper to third, and he'll get out of the inning. So he had to work hard, but he got out of the jam, and the Yankees leave the bases loaded. We will go to the bottom of the 6th in Dunedin. Still 2-0 Blue Jays. Baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Bottom 6 in Dunedin. Blue Jays 2, Yankees nothing. Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler, Hazel May. J.R. Graham still on the mound for the Yankees. And the batter is Steve Pearce for the Blue Jays, signed in the offseason. He moves into the DH role here in this game. He's coming back from elbow surgery that he had in October. The hope is that he's ready to play in the outfield if needed, throw effectively by the time the season starts. He's also going to fit into the mix at first base. He can also play second base. He's played some second base. He can play all over the place. He's got terrific numbers in the past against left-handed pitching. He's really handled left-handed pitching very well.
You know, every year in the offseason, there's signings that go under the radar. They're not the big, you know, bamboozle that you see, headlines and all that. They go under the radar, and I think this might be one of those for the Blue Jays this year. Stephen Pearce, solid major leaguer, hit 20 home runs a couple of seasons ago when he was with Baltimore. You mentioned the different positions that he can play, and he absolutely murders left-handed pitching. So the Blue Jays trying to help themselves out by balancing out that lineup when a lefty's out on the mound. But it's a good signing by the Blue Jays. Just got to make sure that he is healthy to start the season.
Pops up the 3-1 into right field, and the play is made for out number 1. We have numerous changes for the Yankees here this inning. That was Billy McKinney who made the catch out in right field, and he was part of the return for the Yankees in the Aroldis Chapman trade with the Cubs, right? McKinney was originally with Oakland, went to the Cubs in the Jeff Samardzija deal, and then went to the Yankees in the Aroldis Chapman deal, part of a big haul of prospects, including Gleyber Torres, very highly thought of. Torres is in the game now at short for the Yankees, so we're starting to see some of the future. Clint Frazier's in left field, another one of the prospects they're very excited about. Dustin Fowler's in center field. The shortstop now, we mentioned, is Gleyber Torres. Ruben Tejada, the former Met, among other stops, is at second base. G-Man Choi is at first, and Francisco Diaz is catching.
You know, you can't talk about the Yankees without talking about all the young prospects. #1 farm system in all of baseball. And you're going to start seeing this next wave start to come up. We get to see it firsthand this afternoon.
Melvin Upton Jr. getting his 3rd at bat of the day. Hits a chopper past the mound to the left of Torres. Up with it and on to first in time.
Gleyber Torres almost went down right there. Got his spikes caught.
So here's some of the names that you were talking about, Tabby, with Gleyber Torres widely considered to be one of the very best prospects in all of baseball, and a young man who's had a lot of accolades and a lot of success at a very young age. Frazier a big part of it. Judge still on the list. This Yankee team, they may be kind of transitioning right now, but they're going to be a lot to handle in a couple of years.
You're going to have to think about these players over the next few years. But it all starts with pitching, and we have another pitching change.
Another mid-inning spring training pitching change for Joe Girardi and the Yankees here. We'll step aside one more time here in Dunedin. Left-hander Evan Rootsky. And we're just messing with Joe Girardi. You can't blame him for doing what he's doing. He's bringing in a lefty here to face a left-handed batter. This is the kind of situation you want to see from a young left-hander. His numbers from the minors a year ago as he comes in to face Rowdy Tellez.
That was over a couple of levels, rookie ball, A ball, and double A. And I think if you're Rowdy Tellez, you got to love this. Showing the respect by the New York Yankees, bringing in the lefty to face you in a spring training game. Also a chance to take a look at a youngster and a lefty, and he says that's one of the things that he has done that has made him better, that I'm handling left-handed pitching a lot better.
And for Evan Rootsky, a Canadian from Windsor, Ontario, 6'5", 225, 25 years of age, non-roster invitee by the Yankees. And you saw the numbers that he put up in rookie ball, A ball, spent most of the year. Didn't make many appearances at all last year as he dealt with some injuries. Only made 10 appearances. The year before made 36 appearances out of the bullpen and pitched to a 2.63 ERA and had 82 strikeouts in 61 2/3 innings back in the 2015 season. Out of St. Joseph's Catholic in Windsor, Ontario, 16th round pick of the Yankees in 2010. Now the Yankees have provided us with a pronunciation guide that says Rootsky. MLB.com says Rutsky. So to his family members who are no doubt watching back in Windsor, Please forgive me, because we've got two different pronunciations here. He played on the 2009 Canadian Junior National Team, so get a chance for a Windsor kid here to pitch against the Blue Jays.
And a chance for, like I said, Rowdy Tellez to face a left-handed pitcher. And I was asking him before the ball game, I said, you know, why are you a better hitter this year? He says, I'm handling lefties better. I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with them. I'm not afraid to hit the ball the other way against them, stay in as long as I can. And as he goes up and he gets into the big league, he's going to see a lot of left-handed pitching.
Well, and he's shown the ability and the affinity to take the ball the other way. He's taken it the other way twice today. We know he's done that on many occasions this spring and throughout his minor league career. See what he tries to do here with a lefty on a 2-2 count. Just to bend out of the way of that inside pitch. Count now full.
See, as you get older and you start playing baseball and get into the AAAs, this is where you can start looking for an off-speed pitch right here. They bring in the left-hander to get you out, probably only going to face one batter. But you can start looking for the left-hander to throw your breaking ball right here.
High in the air to center field. Starting back and now coming in to make the catch is Fowler, and the inning is over. End of 6 in Dunedin, 2-0 Blue Jays.
Sunday, April 16th, the first 20,000 fans receive a Bring 'em Rain umbrella when the Orioles take on the Blue Jays at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Dan.
All right, Hazel, thank you. We go to the 7th inning here in Dunedin. We have some changes for the Blue Jays on this beautiful afternoon. Ryan McBroom is in at first. Anthony Alford is in at left. And you're looking at the new pitcher, side armor, really more of a submariner almost. Will Browning comes into the game.
Browning pitched for Buffalo last season. Actually got into 47 games in AA and in AAA. Buffalo pitched in one game in Buffalo, an inning and 2/3. He's a sidewinder. He was a non-drafted free agent in 2012 out of Louisiana Monroe. Giving the Yankees a little bit different look. 6'3", 190.
First batter he'll face is Ji-Man Choi. Came on at first base an inning ago. Boy, if you're Browning and the Blue Jays pick up Joe Smith, as you get a look at McBroom is at first base. We mentioned Alfred's in left field right now. If you're Will Browning and the Blue Jays pick up Joe Smith, you've got, like, what a guy you could learn from, a guy who's been pitching like that for years and years.
Guess who I'm hanging with every day? I might even put my locker right next to him, or maybe even I'd move into Joe Smith's locker so I'm with him constantly and just picking his brain and trying to learn as much as I can, because they're two very similar type of pitchers. From down under, sinker slider type of pitchers. They have a little deception and a lot of movement.
At Double-A last year, 46 appearances, 51 innings for Browning, allowed 41 hits, walked 14, struck out 61 strikeouts in 51 innings, and had a 1.94 ERA, and chalked up 10 saves as well.
He says, don't focus on my fastball speed. I'm not going to light up the radar gun. It's more about movement. I'm a sinker, slider, sidearm kind of guy, and he's going to pick up a strikeout with that sweeping slider.
He gets Choi, and now will face a pinch hitter. Miguel Andujar is coming up to bat for the Yankees.
Look at how much that ball, it's going to be moving all over the place. And picks up the strikeout on the check swing. And this Andujar kid, A-Rob was talking about him last week. They really like him. And we were talking all about the Yankee young players. This is one that's people aren't talking about, but he's got some special talent.
Andujar batting for Donovan Solano with a 1 out here in the 7th inning. 2 shutout innings for Liriano, 2 shutout innings for Latos, 2 shutout innings for Biagini, and now Browning here in the 7th. Sweeping breaking ball winds up way outside, ball 2. Can't be a comfortable at bat for a right-handed batter.
Well, especially if you're a minor leaguer, you don't see a lot of side arming right-handers down in the minor leagues. This kid's got some power. But right now, not real familiar with that slider.
It didn't have, or that last one didn't have a ton of movement down. It's just sweeping so far away from the right-handed batter. It looks like it's right over the middle of the plate and winds up a foot outside.
Then you end up throwing that fastball again. It's not going to light up the radar gun, but because you got slider on the mind of that hitter, you can drop an 85, 87 mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner. That's what we were talking about earlier, about different looks from the bullpen. So you can't sit on one type of pitch. If you load up your bullpen with 7 hard-throwing guys, 5 righties and 2 lefties, and they all throw the same way, hitters are eventually going to adjust. But if you've got different angles, different styles, different types of pitchers, like the Blue Jays seem to have this year, that's where you're going to get some success.
Ground ball down to third, and Elmore will make the play to get Andujar 2 down. You know, we haven't mentioned some other guys who have had some time with the Blue Jays in the last couple of years. We've talked about guys vying for the last couple of spots, and we haven't mentioned a Danny Barnes or a Bo Schultz or a Ryan Tepera, guys like that. It feels like, from a depth perspective, there's a little bit more there than maybe there was a year ago at this time for the Blue Jays in the pen, if and when they do run into some situations.
Especially at the upper levels of the farm system. They went for it in 2015 and traded away a lot of prospects. So yeah, some holes to fill in Double-A and in Triple-A. And it's taken them a couple of years, but you're right. They are starting to get some more depth, and they're starting to fill in those holes. So if something happens at the major league level, they've got some backups coming in. Luckily for the Jays, Dan, over the last couple of seasons, the starters have given them a lot of innings.
This is Gleyber Torres, and he hits the ball hard to left field. Alford back, makes the catch on the edge of the track to end the inning. Kind of hit it into the wind, or it might have gone a little bit further, but it's the 7th inning stretch, 2-0 Blue Jays. 9-1-1, a 3-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
The only runs of the game brought to you by this swing from Jose Bautista. He homered at yesterday's ball game. He gets this one off on the right foot in the first inning. Slider with a runner on board. Bautista with a home run to right field. Today's play of the game.
We go bottom 7 here in Dunedin. 2-0 Blue Jays. And Rutsky back on the mound for the Yankees. And bottom third of the order for the Blue Jays. And it looks like all 3 guys who started the game are still going to be in there. As Darwin Barney, Richard Urania, and Jake Elmore all look like they're going to have their 3rd at bat of the afternoon.
You know, that's when the manager goes up and taps on your shoulder. And hey, you got 9 today. Go get them. You're off tomorrow. You got 9 today.
Barney has singled and struck out. Was it like this when you came up? Did you start off? So you're the minor league kid. You're not yet the established big leaguer. Did you come in for the last 3-4 innings? Were big league guys getting 2 at bats, playing 5 innings, and leaving games as much back then?
My first big league camp, as that ball is skied to left field, and caught by Torres for out number 1. My first big league camp, I was with the Yankees. I was number 66. I was the pulling left guard for the Yankees. But I was also Willie Randolph's caddy. I was a second baseman that time, and Willie would play his 5 innings or 6 innings, and then I would come in and pick him up at second base until, you know, the team was finalized and they put the whole roster together, and then see you later. We'll see you back down in the minor leagues.
So Yankee camp was Fort Lauderdale then? Is that right?
Fort Lauderdale.
So you started in Fort Lauderdale, and as the kid, you would get the long bus rides. You would come across the state to this side of the state, like with the, you know, Willie Randolph and who else was there at the time? Which of the big Yankees? What year are we talking about?
1981.
1981.
There was everybody. I walked in there. There was Dave Winfield and Reggie Jackson and Chris Chambliss and Greg Nettles and Bucky Dent. Should I keep going?
Like Reggie didn't go across Alligator Alley and play games on this side of the state.
No,
did he?
but what the Yankees did then, at least that year, was they took a lot of trips, plane trips.
Really?
And we played in the New Orleans Superdome.
Really?
A couple of exhibition games.
That's cool.
We went to North Carolina, where you're heading. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Play the University of North Carolina. And then, yeah, we took the usual bus trips around, up into the Tampa area. But we would fly around and play in different cities outside of Florida. It was the traveling Yankee show with all those great stars on it. I'll tell you, I walked into that first clubhouse, and Mickey Mantle was there, and Joe DiMaggio was there, and Yogi Berra was there, and Billy Martin was there. And, you know, they were bringing all these guys as camp coaches. Whitey Ford would throw batting practice to all of us scrubs out on the backfield, and it was like, wow, I'm going to ride home and say I faced Whitey Ford today.
Man, if iPhones had been around, then you'd have been a selfie machine back in those days. Right? Hey, Whitey. Hey, Joe D.
Exactly.
Urania bounces one up the middle for a base hit. 1-out single here in the bottom of the 7th.
You know what? Luckily, they weren't. Because I would have, you know, gone around. I mean,
hey, Mickey.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's amazing.
Catfish Hunter was there. All the great stars from forever. Or Joe Pepitone was there.
Yeah. So there's Urania. We talked about him learning to switch hit. Again, the right side, not his natural side, which is unusual for switch hitters. But there he is bouncing a base hit up the middle from the right side. And here's Elmore. So do you just keep your head down? You don't speak unless spoken to, and right?
Don't talk. But what I did like doing, the hitting coach that year was Charlie Lau. And I loved to spend time in the batting cages, and I would go down there, and Reggie Jackson wanted to hit 300, and he would work with Charlie down in the cage, and Lou Piniella was down there, who was a perennial 300 hitter, and they learned to hit Charlie Lau's style. And if you look at the numbers, that ball gets away from Diaz. If you look at the numbers, Reggie had a pretty good year in 1981.
What was he like as a teammate to a young kid? What was he like?
Great.
Was he? Yeah.
Great. I mean, that's why you still see him in spring training, sitting down on the field and being with the kid. He made you feel like you were part of the team. And, you know, a lot of us, we were nobodies coming up from A-ball, double-A, whatever, our first chance at the big league level. And here is a Hall of Famer treating you like a big leaguer, like you're part of the team. Willie Randolph was the same way. Bucky Dent was the same way. Nettles, they were all the same way. Bob Watson, they made you feel like you were part of the team and the organization.
Reggie hit 563 home runs and drove in over 1,700 runs, 14 times an All-Star.
Did he hit his 300 in 1981?
Well, the Wi-Fi is not being as cooperative right now as I
Okay.
would like it to be. So as soon as I can get you that answer, I will. There's a liner to short, back to second, a double off Urania, and that's the inning. 7 in the books here in Dunedin. No scoring since the Bautista home run away back in the first. Still 2-0 Blue Jays.
For the World Baseball Classic. Coverage begins Monday. Canada's first game is on Thursday against Jose Bautista and the Dominican Republic. All the action gets underway for you at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 1.
Hazel, thank you. We have a number of changes for the Blue Jays as we go to the top of the 8th inning. And looking forward to that Canada game against the Dominican Republic. Left-hander Jeff Beliveau is into the game, and obviously for Canadians and hockey fans, that's a very familiar name. And Jeff says, you know what? He says, I might be distantly related to Jean Beliveau, the Hockey Hall of Famer. He believes he has some French-Canadian ancestry. He's from Rhode Island, I believe, but he's not quite sure. But he is still getting surprised when people hear the name Beliveau right away, and everybody says to him, oh, are you related to Jean? But when you play for a Canadian team, if you're in Canada, everybody's going to say that. So, meanwhile, a left-hander trying to show Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro, and John Gibbons make an impression here.
Well, Blue Jays are looking for another lefty in the bullpen. If you've got J.P. Howes penciled in as one of your lefties, you got Aaron Loop, and you got Jeff Beliveau. You see more changes for the Blue Jays coming on.
Leading out the top of the 8th inning for the Yankees.
So you saw Birdie at second, Diaz at short, Opitz is at third, and Ruben Tejada will lead it off here against Beliveau in the 8th inning. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Yankees. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. To answer your question from last half inning,
yes,
Reggie Jackson hit 300 in 1980, but he must have started swinging a little bit harder in 81 because he hit 237 in 81. That was a strike season, right? 81,
yes,
split season.
Yes. So he did hit his 300. I know he wanted to hit 300
in 1980. Yeah. Reggie was entertainment, man. Was he? I mean, he was talent too. He could hit the ball a long way, but he was entertainment.
I asked him one night, we were out, he was with, I think he was with the Angels. No, he was with the Oakland A's at the end of his career in Cleveland, and we were out at a restaurant, and I asked him, I said, is it true that you can name every pitcher and the pitch for the home runs that you hit in your career? He said, yes.
Really?
Now, I didn't have anything to
prove it, yeah.
But I knew who he hit his
thick book.
I knew he hit his 500th home run off of Bud Black. And I said, okay, number 500.
Well, that's an easy one. For him to remember, right? So,
it was an easy one for me to remember, too.
I mean, if you had asked him for, like, 247 and he knew that one, that would be impressive. But I tend to believe him that he would know
so
that.
do I. So do I. Yeah, Bud Black, hanging curveball, was in Anaheim, and he was right.
Beliveau from Providence, Rhode Island, originally an 18th round pick of the Cubs back in 2008. He's been through the Tampa Bay organization, spent a number of years in the Rays organization. As he misses inside a full count, signed to a minor league deal by the Blue Jays back at the end of December.
He pitched a little bit with the Rangers. He's that typical left-hander. Again, he's not going to just blow the ball by. He's got a good breaking ball. He's a good situational lefty. Good curveball that he's got a lot of depth on. He'll cut the ball at time, and a very deceptive changeup.
And on the hands and fouled off out of play. Well, one thing the Yankees are dealing with, obviously, is a team in transition. If you think as to where they were a year or two ago, of course, A-Rod was still playing. Mark Teixeira, who has retired now, was still playing. Carlos Beltran was still a Yankee. Brian McCann was still a Yankee. They've gotten younger. They've lost some payroll, which is part of the process, because they're going to spend that somewhere else when they get the opportunity, when the free agents classes get a little bit better. And also they've really strengthened the farm system, as you mentioned, as this ball's lifted in the air to right field. It's pretty well hit. And Siciliani is back and makes the catch up against the fence. Nice catch by Siciliani for the first time.
You know, John Gibbons has said, you know what, I like the approach that my young players are having this first week of games. I like that we're playing these young kids because I get to put my eyes on them, so when we need some help later in the season, I can remember it. And you know he's going to remember the catch that we just saw from Daryl Siciliano. No fear, right into that wall in right field. One more quick look to see where he is. He's got the warning track wall and hauls it in.
So a nice play by Siciliani for the first out of the 8th inning. Going to bring up Clint Frazier, who was part of the return in the Andrew Miller deal with the Indians.
Former first-round draft pick, Dan, and everybody in the Yankee camp keeps talking about this kid in terms of bat speed. He's got a lot of bat speed. He can wait a long time and then turn on it. He's just starting to grow into his body. Had a chance to watch him today take batting practice, and he looked like Josh Donaldson, a young Josh Donaldson. Yep. The way that he stands at that plate, he almost looks like resembles the facial look of Donaldson, the way he sets himself at the plate and the way he gets ready and his finish with his swing.
Except Donaldson's a blonde this year.
Yes, he is.
Or this week. Frazier last year, between the Indians and Yankees organization, spent some time at AA and AAA and combined to hit 263, 16 home runs, 27 doubles, stole 13 bases. Again, we just showed you the names of some of the veteran guys who have either retired or moved on to other teams. So it's a completely different looking Yankee team. They still have Ellsbury. They still have Gardner. Of course, they still have the likes of CC Sabathia, Masahiro Tanaka. They re-signed Chapman.
Well, I think they did it right. They made a decision. We're going to go and redo this thing. So it's a tear down, get as many young prospects as possible. Beliveau finishes off Frazier with a fastball upstairs. But it's a tear down and a reboot, if you will, for the Yankees with all young guys. They're doing it the right way.
Yep. And in 2 years, the free agent class is great. It includes Manny Machado, Bryce Harper. It could include Josh Donaldson. It could include Clayton Kershaw, on and on and on. And you got to believe that the Yankees are going to throw some money around Not this coming winter, the winter after that. So they're trying to be competitive and reboot all at the same time. Fly ball to right field, and that's the inning. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Yankees. We're going bottom 8 here in Dunedin. Still 2-0 Blue Jays.
This program brought to you by new Scott's Lawn Response 911, a 3-in-1 solution that rescues your lawn.
Bottom 8 in Dunedin, along with Pat Tabler, Hazel May. I'm Dan Shulman. Glad you're with us for Blue Jays spring training action. New pitcher for the Yankees is right-hander Brady Lale.
Brady Lale, over a couple of spots last year in AA and AAA. There, his numbers are 275 average. He made 17 games in AAA. Another one of those guys with a big arm. Pitching fastball that touches 94. He's got a sharp curveball and a pretty good changeup. He was originally an 18th round draft pick of the Yankees out of high school in 2012, and here he is getting a chance to face some big leaguers.
And he'll face the top of the Blue Jay lineup, beginning with Dalton Pompey getting his second at bat of the ball game. He struck out in his first at bat back in the 5th inning. Not a lot of offense at all in this game. In fact, Jose Bautista's provided basically all of it with a 2-run homer back in the bottom of the 1st. Give me your thoughts on Pompey, where he is at right now. What is he looking to accomplish? What is his scenario?
Well, I saw him this morning, and the first thing I noticed, he's much bigger and stronger, I guess, to help himself. And he said that's what I did in the offseason. I wanted to work out. I wanted to get strong, but I didn't want to take away my #1 asset, and that is team speed, and he's got some speed. Where does he fit in here? I think the Blue Jays want him to play every day. And if that's not in the big leagues, then that's probably going to be in AAA and put together a outstanding season. I know Ross Atkins is very high on him. He says, I want to see what he has. He was rushed through the system very quickly, and I just don't think Dalton had a chance to establish himself as a young player. So when things go sideways, as you go up the ladder and as you get to the big leagues, you can always go back to your base of stuff that works for you. But when you're rushed through the system, you're not really sure of who you are and what you can do and what you can and can't do. So I'd love to see him get a chance to play every day and establish himself and find out the type of player who he is.
24 years of age and spent almost the entirety of last year at AAA, as you mentioned, as he strikes out for the 2nd time today.
Well, there's no doubt that he's got a lot of talent, a lot of physical tools. He now has to transition that to the playing field.
Last year, AAA in 65 games, because he did deal with some injuries, he hit .285, 1 homer, stole 16 bases. So, as you say, I don't think they want him to sit on the bench and play once a week. It's either get a good chunk of playing time in the big leagues or play every day at Buffalo.
And who knows where that's going to be 3 or 4 weeks from now at the end of spring training. Could be in the big leagues. It could be in the big leagues with another organization. I mean, that's always a possibility.
Well, right now, left field, you're looking at Carrera and Upton. That could go a number of different ways. That could be a pure platoon. One guy could outplay the other and try to get the whole job. They both could do well. Both could struggle. You know, Carrera has been very effective in spurts for the Blue Jays, but not necessarily on a 500 to 600 at bat a year level. And Upton has been hit under 200 for the Blue Jays last year.
But you've been around baseball long enough that you see young kids come in and take jobs away from veterans, which is a possibility.
Ball smoked into right field, a base hit for Saltalamacchia. Although it feels to me like teams don't go to camp with as many jobs able to be won with a good spring as there used to be. I mean, I remember the Blue Jays in the 80s, and it would be, what did Ducey do today? What did Witten do today? What did Glenn Allen Hill? You know, I mean, you day by day you tracked it because there were jobs available. And I don't know that it's not just the Jays, it's baseball. It feels to me like teams come to camp with more jobs taken or settled now than maybe they did a generation ago.
The good ones, the good teams. That is Dwight Smith Jr. is now going to take over for Jared Saltalamacchia at first base.
The batter is Daryl Siciliani. You know, and the left field situation to me is also a little bit connected to the first base situation, because first Steve Pearce has to get healthy enough, fully healthy, so that he can do everything at bat and in the field. And we haven't mentioned Justin Smoak's name today. The more Smoak hits, maybe the more Pearce is in the outfield. The less, if Smoak struggles, then maybe Pearce is needed more at first base, and that changes things in the outfield a little bit. So.
You and I have had a chance to watch John Gibbons manage over the years. Who's ever hot is going to play, right? They have the options now that they can move guys interchangeable parts from different position to different position. And Gibby's the type of manager who's ever hot, he's going to find a way and put him in the lineup. So if Smoak is hot at first base, he's going to play. If Pearce is hot and there's a lefty, he's going to play somewhere.
Yeah, I think they have more flexibility there, but I think they have less with the DH spot, because last year you could put Encarnacion at first. Kendrys Morales, to my understanding, you know, he might put a glove on for some interleague games in National League parks, but that's basically going to be about it, don't you think? He's not going to play a lot in the field at all.
Well, there's too many other options, I would think, unless it becomes a necessity. You know, in the past, when you were talking about Encarnacion, Edward could play first base. John Gibbons also started him at third base a few times a couple of years ago in interleague games at third base, just to keep that bat in the lineup. You're not going to see that this year.
Well, it's a big year for Justin Smoak. I mean, for him to get back, he was a more productive hitter in 2015 than he was in 2016. He's got, you know, I guess the relative security of a 2-year deal now that he was signed to late last season. That's in effect through the end of 2018. And with him being a switch hitter and Pearce being a right-handed batter, you got to believe that Smoak will get the opportunity to bat against righties. He'll get the lion's share of the at-bats at first base if things go well.
He had some pop from the left side too last year. Excellent defender. I'd want him in there every day just for his glove. The way that he can field his position, saving throws and doing all the things. Just be a little bit more consistent with the bat, if you will. You know, had his moments.
Here comes Steve Pearce for the second time today. A fly ball to right field back in the 6th inning. First and second, 1 out. Blue Jays batting bottom of the 8th, up 2-0 on the Yankees. So the next telecast Sunday, you're going to see Marcus Stroman, right? Is he on the mound on Sunday?
Yeah, that's what I heard today.
Yeah.
That he's going to be the guy. I saw him throwing today. He looked nice and smooth. I think Marcus has he he wants to go out there and prove that last year was a fluke. At times he was outstanding. At times I thought he was unlucky. A lot of balls that would squib through or bloopers out there. I think he's out there to prove that he's going to have a big year this year. I think he came into camp with a little chip on his shoulder and a little eye of the tiger type of thing. He's going to go out there and have a good year.
And this is his last start before he leaves to join Team USA for the World Baseball Classic.
He looked sharp his first game, didn't he?
Well, he's a terrific athlete, and he works very hard in the offseason. Those are two things you know about Marcus Stroman.
You know, the final numbers, when you look at his numbers from last year, really didn't tell the story. If you had a chance to watch him day in and day out and watch every start like I did, he pitched much better than his numbers indicate. He'd make some great pitches and they'd just flick him and foul him off to keep at bats alive, and then there'd be a broken bat hit or a ball that would a 95 hopper through the infield. I just think he's ready to just take it to the next level.
He tinkers a lot. He's changes his delivery, a quick pitch, a hesitation. Went from being a four-seam guy to a two-seam guy. He's changing the kinds of pitches that he throws. He thinks a lot on the mound, and he tinkers a lot on the mound.
But you know what he has? He still has in the back pocket that he could always go to? That sinker.
Yeah.
He can go to that sinker. That pitch gets him out of a lot of problems.
That's why the infield defense is so important for a guy like Stroman.
Yeah, especially on the left side of the infield. Donaldson and Tulowitzki making all those great plays. Should be fun. Blue Jays, I think, have the best starting pitching in the American League East. Even though the Red Sox signed Chris Sale, they got the bad news yesterday.
Yeah, David Price, and unless something's broken in the last hour or two while we've been doing the game, don't know if we know anything more about the potential severity of that injury, but it's never good news when you hear things like you heard about David Price. They still have Sale. They still have Rick Porcello, who won the Cy Young Award last year, and they've got Drew Pomerantz and Stephen Wright, and I mean, they've got Eduardo Rodriguez. That's still going to be a very, very formidable opponent for the Blue Jays.
Yes, yes, and it's funny how everybody's handing the Boston Red Sox the American League East already. We're in the first week of spring training, and still got to play the games. A lot can happen. Listening to John Farrell the other day, his interview after the news about David Price certainly didn't sound very encouraging, which is unfortunate, especially for what he did for this organization in 2015.
The Red Sox winning the division last year. Blue Jays, the wild card team, or the first wild card team. The Orioles tied with them a number of wins, but Blue Jays, of course, won the tiebreaker, had home field, won the wild card game over Baltimore at Rogers Center. Tampa Bay, a lot of people thinking don't sleep on the Rays this year.
If their pitching can come through.
Sharply hit ball to short. It's a second one on to first, double play. We are through 8, heading top 9 in Dunedin, with the Blue Jays still leading the Yankees 2-0. Some guys may be out of the game, but doing other things to make the fans happy here at the ballpark.
roster. Members enjoy VIP experiences and access to unique networking and fundraising events, all geared towards fans of your Toronto Blue Jays. Visit jayscare.com/YP today.
Hazel, thank you. We go top 9 here in Dunedin with the Blue Jays leading 2-0. And the new pitcher for Toronto is 35-year-old right-hander Jarrett Grube, who was originally chosen by the Rockies back in 2004, has one career major league appearance to his credit. That was with the Angels in 2014, where one of the batters he faced in that game was Josh Donaldson, who was then with the Oakland A's.
Spent some time in the Indians organization, the Mariners organization, signed with the Blue Jays last December. Has some depth in the organization, the Indians organization, where Mark Shapiro, Ross Atkins, I'm sure they knew him from back then. He's fastball, slider, split change type of pitcher, doesn't overpower you.
You saw Alex Monsalve has come in to catch the last inning here for the Blue Jays. Well, if you're John Gibbons or Ross Atkins or Mark Shapiro, you look at today's game and you see Liriano, Latos, and Biagini all pitched extremely well. Latos making a pretty good statement that, and it's very early in the spring, but that he warrants inclusion on the major league roster. And you saw Jose Bautista stay with a scorching hot bat as well.
Matt Latos, stretch him out. Stretch him out from what we saw in his 2 innings. Latos, 6 up, 6 down. A couple of weak grounders to first base, a couple of strikeouts, and a couple of fly balls. He looked like he belongs on this team as a long man out of that bullpen.
And isn't it nice when a team has a true long man, a guy who can go 2 or 3 innings? I mean, it used to happen all the time. But if you've had a game the day before and say the Blue Jays win in a close game and they've used their back end of the bullpen guys an inning, maybe they pitch 2 days in a row. It's a great luxury to have a guy who can go out there and give you 2 or 3 innings the next day.
Or your starter gets hurt in the first inning or the second inning, or he gets blown out of there in the second or the third inning. It could absolutely destroy your pitching staff for a week if you don't have a long man who can come in, shut down the other team, and basically take over for that starter for that day. It's not going to hurt your bullpen.
A pop-up for out number 1.
Last year, that long man was filled by a couple of people coming out of spring training. If you remember, Jesse Chavez made this team as a long man out of the bullpen, and Gavin Floyd made the team out of spring training as a long man. Gavin got hurt. He did a great job in that role for the first time in his career, and Jesse Chavez ended up getting traded. This year, maybe it's Matt Latos.
1 down in the 9th. Here's Wilkin Castillo. The regular season will begin on April the 2nd, a trio of games. The Blue Jays will play their first game on a Monday, April the 3rd at Baltimore. Later on that week, they'll go to Tampa Bay, have a series with the Rays, and then come home. And as we mentioned, the home opener is Tuesday, April the 11th. They will play the first of just a quick 2-game series, an interleague series against Milwaukee. As that ball's lined into right field for a base hit for Castillo. And then a 4-game series with Baltimore. So they'll see in their first, 12 games, they'll have 7 games against the Orioles.
Deal with that bullpen. I know Chris Tillman hasn't started spring training yet for the O's, and they're a little thin in that starting rotation, so Buck Showalter's going to have to find a couple of arms if Tillman is not ready. It's going to look so weird watching the Orioles without Matt Wieters behind the plate for the first time in how many years.
And right after that Orioles series, the Red Sox come to town. So it's going to get serious in a hurry for the Blue Jays in the month of April. And as the old saying goes, you can't win a pennant in April, but you can lose one. You can't clinch anything, but you can get knocked out early, and the Blue Jays can ill afford. They didn't have a great start last year.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get buried.
You don't want to get buried, but what the Blue Jays did, they had a great May, June, and July. I mean, really just took over. So when they stumbled just a little bit last year in the month of September, they had still gotten into the playoff picture with those great months of May, June, and July.
And another base hit, and this one's headed all the way to the wall in the corner. Castillo is on his way to third. He will be held there on the double by Diaz, and the Yankees, who haven't scored all afternoon long, now have runners at second and third with one out here in the ninth inning.
The pitching, you just mentioned it, has been outstanding for the Blue Jays now into the ninth inning. But the Yankees making a bid to tie this one up or go ahead. And they're going to have to do it with some of their young kids. Castillo doubles the runner into third base. Second and third, just one out. So the tying run's aboard.
And the batter is Ji-Man Choi. Spent some time with the Angels last year. 112 at bats. Hit just 170. Did hit 5 home runs. That pitch will get away, but nobody's going to risk it. That's not the tying run at third base. Pinch runner on at second base for the Yankees is Tyler Wade. So Castillo is at third. Wade is at second. Wade representing the tying run with one down here in the ninth inning, and Choi facing Groove.
Infield's going to play back. They will concede that run with a 2-run lead. Well, if you've got a strikeout pitch, this is the time to throw it right here. Don't overthrow it. Make the good pitch. Get a strikeout. Something that stays on the infield.
One, two. Just threw the bat at the ball, and it's lined softly into center field for a base hit that will tie the game.
Well, he had the pitch that he wanted to try and get him out, try and strike him out, and he totally fooled Choi, the batter. That's how you protect the plate with a couple of strikes. Just throw your bat at it, and unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it finds a hole back through the middle. Diaz, the shortstop, broke initially to his right. And then no chance to knock that ball down and keep it on the infield.
So it is tied at 2 here in the top of the ninth. Ronald Torreyes has come on to run for Choi as Miguel Andujar has a big swing and a foul off down the right field line. Well, the Blue Jays wound up in a tie in yesterday's game. As mentioned, Torreyes is on at first running. Blue Jays wound up tying the Phillies in yesterday's game
with a big ninth inning.
Yep.
The Blue Jays with 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth inning to tie that one up.
Ground ball weakly hit down to third, to second, and an acrobatic play made out at second by John Birdie there to force the lead runner.
I think he knew that they weren't going to be able to turn 2 on that play. A good play by the third baseman Shane Opitz in between hop, fires it over to Birdie. No chance to turn that one, so he just keeps that foot on that base to get that middle runner at second base.
And here's Gleyber Torres. Torres, just 20 years of age. He is from Venezuela. Young shortstop we talked about. Maybe the key part of the acquisition in the Aroldis Chapman deal between the Yankees and the Cubs during the season last year. And he has popped it up back of short, and that will be the inning. But the Yankees have tied it up. They get 2 in the top of the ninth, and that means the Blue Jays are coming up bottom 9 when we come back to Dunedin after this. Yankees tie it with a couple of runs in the top half of the inning. So we'll see. It's one of these situations. If the Jays do not score this half inning, is it up to Joe Girardi and John Gibbons to decide if they want to keep going or not?
We'll keep our eyes on both of those guys to see what happens as this half inning unfolds. If they've got enough pitching to continue in the extra innings. Yesterday they played 9 innings and finished with an 8-8 tie. Well, there is another pitcher for the Yankees, and it's Joe Mantiply. He's a former 27th round draft pick. Check that out. 27th round in 2013 out of Virginia Tech by the Detroit Tigers. Mantiply was claimed by the Yankees from waivers in the Tigers back in November. Gets a chance to impress his new manager.
And the first guy he will face is Anthony Alford, the young outfield prospect for the Blue Jays. The former football player. Kevin Pillar was talking about him a little bit when he joined us in the booth after he left the game, and offered a terrific talent, raw, still learning the game of baseball because he was playing so much football when he was younger. He skies it between the plate and third base, and the catch will be made in fair territory for out number 1 as Andahar came down the line.
Did you see the excitement in the eye of Mark Shapiro yesterday after Anthony Alford hit that home run to right field?
Opposite field power.
Line drive. It was almost like a left-handed batter pulled the ball into the bullpen of the Blue Jays. I mean, that's the kind of raw talent that young man has.
Had a tough year last year. Had a knee injury, then had a concussion, a collision with Richard Urania that cost him some time. So first and foremost, hoping just to be healthy this year to keep advancing his career. Here is Ryan McBroom. McBroom from Fredericksburg, Virginia. 15th round pick of the Blue Jays back in 2014. Spent last year playing right here in Dunedin. Spent a little bit of time at AA, but spent most of his time here in the Florida State League, where he hit .274, 21 homers in 119 games.
So you got one more in him. How about another home run right here to walk it off?
Two. Fly ball to left field. Did he do it, Tabby? Did you call it? He walks it off. Nice call by you. Nice swing by McBroom.
Hey, familiar with this ballpark. He knows that backstop there. He knows what it feels like to hit it out of the ballpark, and the Blue Jays are happy he did. How about that?
Good for
away,
him.
Ryan.
Big smile on the face of Ryan McBroom, and why not? As he walks it off here in the bottom of the 9th.
Blue Jays had this game with the home run by Bautista, put him up. The pitching was outstanding. Yankees come back to tie it up late. And then with one swing, look at the smile. He's done that before. You just mentioned the home runs he hit in the Florida State League. There's nothing like it. A young kid circling the bases for the game winner.
So the Blue Jays pick up their second win here in spring training. Go to 2-5-1. You can see the next telecast for the Blue Jays here on Sportsnet comes your way on Sunday as the Jays will take on the Rays. A 3-2 win here on the McBroom walk-off for Pat Tabler and Hazel May. I'm Dan Shulman. Thanks for watching, and so long from Dunedin, Florida.